ownership clearly siding with the GM, thinking it was more the coaching problem than the roster problem. Was one of the worst that the Bills have had during this run.
Agreed.
So we'll get to that. We'll always welcome your texts on the Jays Southland Tow Service text line, 913-586-7965. Video stream will be up and running as well. YouTube, Twitch, X, Facebook. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. That way you don't miss any of the shows here on 96.5 The Fan. And, of course, you can follow us individually on social as well throughout the show, throughout the weekend. We put up some clips and some other thoughts as well at Cody B. Tappan and myself at Alex Gold as well if you want to follow us on X or Instagram or on TikTok as well. I actually want to start, though, with what relates to the Chiefs the most. And I know the Sean McDermott thing has repercussions for the AFC, but the news that nobody is surprised by, it's just now out there across the board. And if you listen to our conversation with Nate Taylor 2 weeks ago, he already was saying that this was likely to happen. But now it's official. The Chiefs requested an interview with Bears running back coordinator / OC, I guess, Eric Bieniemy for the Chiefs' vacant OC job. We know Matt Nagy's contract expiring. We know he maybe is going to get this head coaching gig in Tennessee. Either way, it seems like they're phrasing it more like, oh, he was just moving on. So now they're good to interview EB. Plus, the Bears got eliminated, as we know, yesterday in an unbelievable football game that went to overtime. It's no secret how I feel about this decision that was likely going to also land him being hired, Cody, which is it's just running it all back a little bit.
Yeah.
And does it mean that the offense can't be better next year? No, that's not what I'm saying. It's just so much of this, no matter what, we can all agree is on Andy Reid. Yes, so much of what the Chiefs are going to be in 2026 is whether or not Andy Reid can fix some of these offensive problems. We all agree there. But it doesn't mean I have to still just be cool with bringing back everybody else from your inner circle, not even interviewing anybody from outside your circle, barring some shift here. Like, that's the part that I don't get. Yeah, it'll ultimately be decided by Andy Reid, but Eric Bieniemy coming back is not exactly inspiring. And
it's the opposite of that.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
And for him, it's a great thing. Like, if I'm Eric Bieniemy, this is an unbelievable spot to be in. If you're Eric Bieniemy, one, you're probably going to make some more money, so that's cool. And then the other part is it's a no-lose situation for Eric Bieniemy. He comes in, if the offense is better, it means Andy Reid makes some changes, he brings some discipline, everybody's happy, and everybody just continues to crush Matt Nagy, and EB's the genius. If they stink next year on offense, it's Andy Reid's fault. He might need to be fired.
Yep.
So it's a no-lose situation for Eric Bieniemy.
Legitimately, he can't come out looking poor because they will inevitably blame Andy Reid instead of that. And look, that's the problem is what you mentioned. Are they even going to pretend like they're talking to anyone else? Because the only one that's leaked out is EB. Schefter can send out they're exploring OC options like there's somehow an S at the end of that versus it is just him. Because this is how he put it, with Chiefs OC Matt Nagy being a finalist for the Titans head coaching job and also on an expiring contract, the Chiefs are lining up potential replacements after saying Chiefs request permission to interview Eric Bieniemy. I feel like that had come out a week ago if the Bears had been eliminated a week ago.
Agreed.
Lining up replacements? Are we sure? Because it feels like the second that this season went down, they were pretty convinced it's Bieniemy. If I'm trying to defend it, Patrick Mahomes specifically in his press conference last week said, I'm looking for someone to hold guys accountable. Well,
that's AB. That's EB.
That's EB. So I'll give Mahomes that, and I'll give the organization that if they are looking for someone to keep people in line, not from the penalty perspective, I've already pointed that one out, but just if you run the wrong route, you might have to hear from Eric Bieniemy. And Patrick Mahomes did play a more disciplined style of football, I think, when Eric Bieniemy was his coordinator than Matt Nagy. It's also an indictment of Nagy that maybe he didn't run a let's hold people accountable type of ship, which I don't think is necessarily true. It just feels, my biggest issue is in a season where it seemed obvious, it is time to make a shift to the new. It is time to reevaluate your roster, reevaluate your coaching staff, make some tangible changes hey, let's just get right back to where we were and reset and find some new life and breath into this thing. You just bring back Eric Bieniemy. That just feels like the same damn thing I've been doing.
I think both can be true. I think I and you can, we both can be disappointed that it looks like they're just going to bring back somebody that's already been part of the circle, that's already been part of the staff. We can also acknowledge that from attention to detail, guys not being lazy on routes and all of that kind of stuff, yes, Eric Bieniemy will raise the bar for that, and that is something that they definitely need. No disputing that. We can also say, though, ultimately, if this offense is going to get fixed and go from league average to being one of the better offenses again, it is still ultimately going to be what Andy Reid does or does not do.
Yeah.
So all that, to me, all that can be true.
Small things are beneficial with Eric Bieniemy. They had better run sets. I thought they were more creative in the run game. They were just better as a running team under Eric Bieniemy. Okay, great. Maybe he can bring some of that back. You know what else? But here's the problem. I am personally going to have a really difficult time being like, Eric Bieniemy fixed the run game. If they go and get a real running back, I'm just going to assume that it was they got a real running back.
But that's why it's a no-lose situation for Eric Bieniemy. Because if they go and sign Breece Hall, well, no kidding, the run game is probably better. If they go and draft Jeremiah Love, well, no kidding, the run game is probably better. It's a no-lose spot for him. It's a great opportunity for Eric Bieniemy.
The issues that they've had, both in the wide receivers and the running back game, are likely to be improved this year. Either they draft Carnell Tate or they draft Jeremiah Love or they sign Breece Hall. They are, on paper, likely to be a better unit from a wide receiver and a running back perspective than they were at the beginning of this year. So if they improve on offense, yeah, that feels about right. Look, I don't hate this hire in the sense that tear the whole organization down, they're lost, get rid of Andy Reid, they're unwilling, but it just speaks to what I think you and I wanted this offseason was Andy Reid. I wanted Andy Reid to show me one more time he had one more real change in him. When he left Philadelphia and he gave up the GM duties, and at other times in his career, 2-3 times in his career, he has been willing to make the big adjustment. The big, like from the style of offense to the coordinators to the people he got rid of in Bob Sutton. He's been willing to make the big adjustment. And getting rid of your OC, who hasn't been working out, which we can call it a mutual parting of ways if you want. They got rid of him. If Nagy doesn't get the Tennessee job and they wanted him back, Nagy would have come back. But if that felt like a real change, but not if it's just Eric Bieniemy. Because then the biggest change you've made this offseason is you got rid of Connor Embry.
And your running back coach, Todd Pinkston. Which I do think they should have been easy decisions, and they are finally making that shift.
But I wanted him to make a hard decision.
Yeah,
Take a hard look in the mirror.
I think so. We're on the same page, but I don't know if it's fair to say they haven't made any change. No matter, they're going to have a new OC, they're going to have a new running back coach, they're going to have a new wide receiver coach. And we'll see if they're done with any other staff changes. I mean, those are some changes. I disagree with potentially who they're about to hire as the OC, but I don't. It's also not fair to say they didn't make any staff changes. I think they clearly are doing that. And ultimately, it's like it's a way oversimplified way to view it. We all know it's make or break is with what you believe in your faith in that Andy Reid can be able to adjust and get back and maybe listen more than he has in the past. And that's not even accounting for the personnel part of it, which we all acknowledge that this is the most important offseason for Brett Veach of his time as the general manager. Whether it's draft, whether it's free agency, this is as important as it gets. So it's not as simple as just the OC make or break. But yeah, it's disappointing that it sure seems like that's the path they're going.
It just feels so blah. There are head coaching hires or coaching hires and all this stuff you can hate, right? Like I don't hate this. I don't want to come in here and be like, this is the worst hire the Chiefs have ever made. It is just, as you pointed out earlier, uninspiring. It is not going to send me to had they brought in, not Shieldhouse because it seems like he's still going to get a head coaching job, but if they brought in any of the names that we have brought up as outside guys, someone from the Shanahan, McVay, McDaniel, someone from another circle, and they brought him in. That move would have me thinking this offseason, ooh, what could the offense look like? What do they have up their sleeve now? What trick are they going to show us next? And instead, I'm like, okay, so they're just, for the third straight year, and this is the problem, for the third straight year, they're looking themselves in the mirror and they're saying, we don't have real problems. We just need minor fixes. Because 2 years ago, when it was just bring Nagy back, bring back the same wide receivers, bring back Hollywood, bring back Rice, bring back Worthy, bring back the same coaches. They were saying, we don't have real problems. We have small problems. And for the third straight years, they're like, we still don't have real problems. We have small problems. Wide receiver coach, running back. Those are problems, but we don't have our offense isn't working problems.
So
we don't have like those problems. It
so
feels
I
like
hear
they're treating it like it's a minor issue.
I hear you, but they were never going to completely they were not going to change their
Reinvent
entire
the wheel.
offense.
No, I know.
They were. I mean, Andy Reid is still the head coach, and it is still his offense. They could have brought in Cliff Kingsbury, who I would have liked, and they're not suddenly becoming an air raid offense and going hurry up, which is what Cliff is as a play caller. So that there was always going to be limitations. I mean, it is.
You and I know it's Andy's offense, yes.
So yes, I hear you that. They're not changing everything, but that was never in the cards. If you wanted them to change everything, that's just saying you want a whole new regime,
which I don't.
I know you don't want that yet. We'll see how this season goes.
It's being pointed out over on Twitch,
and
obviously we're on YouTube as well, so you can hit us up on those chats, pointing out is there some benefit that spending a little bit of time with Ben Johnson taught him some stuff?
Hopefully.
Because EB ideally would have to, and I'm sure he's had to go through an evaluation process himself after leaving Kansas City, because when he left Kansas City, he was hopeful he could go be an OC somewhere else, go be a college coach somewhere else, and that would inevitably lead him to I'm going to be an offensive coordinator. So maybe he learned some stuff. Look, I love the run sets Ben Johnson runs. So in fairness, if Eric Bieniemy has learned how they use Kyle Monangai and Swift, and he can implement some of that strategy from that offense into this offense, there is a potential side benefit from it. Again, I don't think there's a 100% chance this just goes south. But you're right. EB is in a no-lose situation. He walks in here and the offense is good. People are going to be like, see?
Yeah, it's
it
great
was
for
Nagy.
him. It's great for him.
And if it goes bad, they'll blame Reid.
Yeah, I'm not. Let me be clear. When I say I'm not really thrilled with bringing back Eric Bieniemy, it's not me telling you that I think the offense is going to be the exact same this year. I'm just saying if it's going to change, it's probably because of Andy, and that's why it is a great thing for EB, because he really can.
I will say bringing back Nagy would have been a worse hire than Bieniemy.
Agreed. No, you had to move on. You had to move on from that. I will also, and maybe this changes by the time we get to the end of the show, and we'll certainly correct it if, in fact, this is something that gets updated, and that is other interviews. As of now, we don't know that the Chiefs have requested any other OC interview. That's the part I don't like. And I also have not seen any other team in the NFL. Someone correct me if I missed it. Seriously. I have not seen any other team in the NFL request an interview with Eric Bieniemy.
To be their OC. And half the OC jobs in the league are going to be open because of 10 head coaching hires and a bunch of other people who have fired their OC.
So maybe that changes. It could change in 5 minutes. I will certainly update you if we see that he has another interview. But that's telling to me. It's the thing we said last week about what we're going to discuss with these head coaching candidates. If Nick Sirianni was fired by Philadelphia, does he get a job right away? I think no. We're going to find out. If Sean McDermott just got fired by the Bills, does he get another job? If not, that's telling. If you fire your coach, or you have a coach and you don't think he is going to get another interview, it's kind of telling to me.
Versus
anyway.
like if you're Stefanski and you fire him and everybody immediately
and he's already
wants
hired.
Him. Are you sure that he's not the best coach available for you?
Well,
goes both ways.
Let's get to Sean McDermott, because prior to the EB news, that's frankly what we were going to lead the show with today. Sean McDermott out as the head coach after 8 playoff appearances in 9 years. That Bills were a terrible franchise before he took over. He comes in, they obviously get Josh Allen as well. That helps. History changes.
Although Josh Allen got better under McDermott. I do want to mention that.
He absolutely did. You know what's weird about this? Sean McDermott, out of all their early exits, or this one's an early one, they've lost an AFC title game, I won't call that early. All their playoff exits, how about that? This is the one that I actually think he's least responsible for. And this is the one, it's a culmination of things, but this is the one that cost him his job. Right? If you go back and look at the 13-second game and how he played that out as a head coach and game management, if you go back and look at this past AFC title game when he lost to the Chiefs a year ago, I would argue in those games, he made way more coaching blunders
I agree.
than what just happened when his quarterback had 4 turnovers and the team had 5. Now, it's not just about this year, clearly. That's not why Sean McDermott got fired, is just because of what happened in Denver. But it is odd that the one that actually ultimately led to the firing is the one where I actually think Sean McDermott did the best coaching job he's had. That roster stunk this year in Buffalo, and he got them to the playoffs, and his quarterback had 4 turnovers in the game, and he lost it. So I'm not saying that ultimately it's the wrong decision to fire Sean McDermott. Maybe he should have done it a year or two ago. But it's odd that this is the one that led to it, and they keep Brandon Beane, and not only kept him, their GM who has drafted Keon Coleman and made the trade that led to Patrick Mahomes for the Chiefs, and they promoted him. It feels like Sean McDermott just lost out on a power struggle there in Buffalo.
So this has been happening a lot more. These GMs have been saved from these jobs, like in the Giants and some others. There's probably 4 or 5 examples over the last 5 years of GMs who were like, wait, this guy? Like Chris Ballard in Indianapolis. Why does he get to keep his job forever, even though he's the person finding the quarterback, finding the coaches, and then everybody stinks? So, like, this has been consistently happening. My best guess is that as the general manager, you meet with the owner more, and it's easier to just blame the subordinates. You got the ear of the owner because you're the person who meets with the owner. So when it comes to these meetings, when you got to save your job, they already have a relationship with you. They know you. They think you're smart. They've had smart football conversation with you. And it's easy for him to be like, coach is holding us back. Let's get rid of that guy. We'll clean house. Don't worry, I got the job. And that's how Bean gets to keep it. From the McDermott angle, he is a really tough fire because I can't deny that they have had quite a bit of success under McDermott. They've been to the playoffs every single year under McDermott, or 8 out of 9 years. I think the only one they missed was the early one. They have won 5 AFC East titles, and they have been in the AFC Championship game twice. But when you have the second best quarterback in the NFL, and all you can say for yourself is, I got him an MVP and 2 an AFC title game a couple of times, and then in a year, and I do think that this matters, in a year when there aren't the normal guys standing in your way, you lose, that's it. Because what I realized here, and I'm not trying to make this all about the Chiefs because I understand the Bills would probably try to deny this in some way. Here's what happened. Sean McDermott got to keep his job longer than he normally would have gotten to keep his job because he had the crutch under his arm that was, I'm not losing to everybody, I'm just losing to Mahomes. So they didn't fire him because he kept losing to Mahomes. And it felt like a good reason why you weren't achieving your goals. But then when the Mahomes didn't stand in your way anymore, well, then it was easy to fire you because that wasn't standing in your way anymore. That was a crutch for a while, I think, for the organization
probably
and for him.
I just can't get over the fact that the roster. I'm surprised if you're going to fire McDermott, just blow it all up. Like I'm really surprised that he's the one out and also not their general manager, given the roster construction issues. I really think. We said it heading into the postseason when we looked at Buffalo, and like, this is not Josh Allen's best team by any means, and all of that. And yet, here you are, and they're basically saying they think it was a coaching issue more than a roster construction issue because they promoted the guy. And you're right about other blunders that have happened. Certainly there were some. I understand people will point to the Broncos game and say, with 15 seconds to go, why didn't you just take a knee? Sure, but also you don't expect your all-pro quarterback to have that ridiculous of a mistake. I mean, that was terrible. Like, yes, take a knee, but what the hell was Josh Allen thinking?
Level of ball security there.
So I actually think as a Chiefs fan, it actually sucks that Sean McDermott's fine.
Unless they just hired Dable or something, yeah.
Maybe, but like you knew you were limited. And this is ultimately, I guess, why you end up firing Sean McDermott. But that organization, they were capped with Sean McDermott. I think they're capped a little bit with Brandon Beane as the GM. So maybe that part makes you think that they still will make bad roster construction issues. Look at that wide receiver room. But the coaching it depends on who they hire. I wonder if you're Stefanski or if you're Harbaugh, you're saying, oh, man, I wish I would have known I had a chance to coach Josh Allen a week ago.
I mean, you can say whatever you want about Brandon Beane and having issues. If you have a chance to get head coaching job and Josh Allen is your quarterback, it is immediately the best job available. I mean, it just is. I mean, he's the second best quarterback in the league. By pretty much every conceivable metric. If that job's available, it's the best job available. And so, if I were Stefanski, I'd be like, damn, I could have done that instead of messed with Atlanta. That sucks.
Is there a single hire for Buffalo now of the known names that are available?
That feels definitively better than McDermott?
That, or just that even as a Chiefs fan, you'd be like, oh, okay, maybe that's the difference.
Nah.
Is there a hire that's out there?
Maybe one of the young offensive-minded guys, but then it's still a swing. I almost feel like it's smarter for them to go with for sure they're the win now head coach because you have Josh Allen. I mean, I don't know if you can get in the Shield House game, or people are mentioning Davis Webb because he's 30 years old and got a head coaching interview and was his teammate for 3 years in Buffalo.
Yeah.
I was about to say, can we talk about Josh Allen for just a minute?
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
The turnover part, he got his coach fired. And look, because of his performance, he chose a really bad time legacy-wise to have his worst postseason game of his career. He gave the ball away 4 times. And we can get into this later, the crybaby nature of the entire Bills organization after that loss. But from just Josh Allen's perspective, because there's a lot to dive in for this, he crumbled in a very important game, in a game in which they could have won a million different times because their defense was stopping Bo Nix. They had control of it. Hell, they were still in the game, even though they just kept giving it away like nothing. Josh Allen stunk in that game. And from a legacy perspective of him versus Mahomes, him is one of the greatest quarterbacks of this generation, he kneecapped himself in that game because he played awful.
Yeah, it was a devastating performance knowing the path that they had. I mean, I still think he's the second best quarterback in football, but let's please don't ever try to compare Patrick Mahomes to Josh Allen. Anybody all offseason this past year that was doing that on the national media, do not ever try to compare Mahomes to Josh Allen. It was silly before, and now how on earth can you do that? It's not even just the rings, because that's a huge chunk of it. That performance in the playoffs, look, Patrick Mahomes has had bad games. Never in the playoffs like that. Like even the Super Bowl. If you want to tell me the Super Bowl, we all know there was a ton of things that were going on. And that was the Super Bowl. That's the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes also did not have 4 turnovers in that Super Bowl, though.
No, he didn't complete passes or get first downs, but he didn't just give the ball
It was a complete breakdown fundamentally. You know what's weird about Buffalo in that game and Josh Allen is despite the turnovers, they actually were the better team throughout the game against Denver.
Absolutely.
And they should have won the game, and I guess that's why Sean McDermott gets fired. But that was something Mahomes has never done. I'm sorry. Like, you could talk about a bad Super Bowl, but that's something he has never done. I do not want to hear any comparison to who is 1 versus 2. It's pretty clear. Josh Allen is 2. Patrick Mahomes is still 1. That did not change, even though the opportunity was there. It was actually a very enjoyable weekend for me watching football. Everything that, other than Denver winning, which both teams couldn't lose. So, and now, unfortunately, Bo Nix, we're going to talk about just a terrible injury. But it actually was perfect. The Broncos are not going to win a Super Bowl now. The Bills are eliminated. The only thing that needs to happen now is to prevent the Patriots from winning a Super Bowl. Other than that, it was actually a perfect playoffs without the Chiefs.
And so, yeah, and like the Josh Allen thing, I don't know if it's, we talk about this with other quarterbacks. Because he's likable as a person, I don't think the national media likes to criticize him as much because he got emotional and cried at the podium. They're like, poor Josh. He did this game he did to himself. I'm sorry. He hurt himself and his own legacy in this one. And you and I, and like, I think it'd be easy to be like, oh, that's just because you're Kansas City. You and I sat here in these chairs on Friday and said, the reason why we thought the Bills would win is historically, Josh Allen in the postseason shows up. Mm-hmm. It really wasn't his fault in some of those games that they lost. It really was Patrick Mahomes just took it to him. This is 3 straight playoff games in which Josh Allen possessed the ball with a chance to give his team the win, and he did not come through. And in this game, not only did he not do that in the final possession, he just kept giving it to Denver anyway. I mean, that the 90 seconds of game time between the final 30 seconds of half and the way that he gave the ball away immediately after halftime too, I mean, that was the game right there. They still got back in it, but they had to claw and scratch, and they couldn't make another mistake, and then they kept making more. It was just, I mean, it was a really miserable postseason performance by him. He's the reason why they lost. Yeah, he's a huge reason why they lost.
And the job gets more challenging. As we all know, it's the same reason the struggles that Mahomes is now starting to go through as well. When you get into your 30s, not only is it just, hey, your organization, and in this case for the Chiefs, your head coach is getting older and all this. Now if you're Josh Allen, you're getting your 30s, about to be. You're going to have a new head coach, which could be good, but it's also uncertain. Your roster has some more work. Your abilities and how you play, like as you get older, you will just not be as athletic. I mean, just scientifically, you will not be as athletic. Doesn't mean you can't ever win, but you don't have any in your back pocket when you have had this laid out for you this year. You know, it's why when we talked about taking advantage of guys on rookie contracts, if you're the Patriots, take advantage of Drake May not making any money. And they might this year. They're already in an AFC title game. The Chiefs did it and got a ring from Mahomes before the big cap hit. They also showed they can win with the big cap hit. But if they never do anything, they got to leave. If you're a Chiefs fan, you got 3 in your back pocket from this generation. The Bills don't have a Super Bowl appearance yet. You know, even Cincinnati has a Super Bowl appearance. They don't have the ring yet. Baltimore doesn't have the Super Bowl appearance. They don't have the ring. It's only tougher for Baltimore moving forward. It's only tougher for Buffalo moving forward. And they have nothing to show for it.
They have completely floundered this opportunity. Now they're going to go find a new head coach, but it'll be the same GM who found the last head coach. And by the way, same thing as always. It was relationships. Do you know where he found Sean McDermott? Sean McDermott was the defensive coordinator for the 15-1 Carolina Panthers when he was the assistant general manager. Because that team was so good, he got the general manager job in Buffalo and has been there since. Yeah. Brought on his guy, Sean McDermott. And while they've had tons of success in the postseason, not so much.
I've always, and mainly to poke the bear towards Drew a little bit, I always would say that Joe Burrow is going to be Dan Marino, a Hall of Fame quarterback, but no rings. Are we going to have 2 Dan Marinos here? Because
someone's going to be John Elway, right? And just get it at the bitter end?
I don't know. I mean, this is where we find out what Drake May does, I guess, the rest of the postseason and find out, does he jump the line? I
mean, we know who Brady and Montana and all of those combined are. It's Mahomes.
I do want to talk about the Patriots. I want to talk about the Broncos, the rest of the divisional round weekend in the NFL. We'll get into that and talk about C.J. Stroud. You want to talk about legacy shifting and what the heck do you do with Stroud moving forward if you're the Texans? That was one of the worst performances in back-to-back weeks we've seen in a while. That's coming up next here on Cody and Gold.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Vinny Pasquantino, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Just because we're now in 2026 does not mean Shawnee Mission Ford is still not on a mission to do more. You guys know I've been driving the Ford F-150 thanks to Shawnee Mission Ford, and we were joking before the show with Drew and Kramer a little bit just about remote start, and also an underrated feature that you don't think you really need is the heated steering wheel, and it is bitter cold outside today, and on Saturday I think it's going to be even worse. Just one of the amazing features in the F-150 and in a lot of the vehicles over at Shawnee Mission Ford, and they're still offering customers the largest discounts, given top trade allowances in Kansas City. If you're looking for a quality used car as well, you'll find it at Shawnee Mission Ford. Over 100 to choose from. They also provide that mobile service. So if you need routine maintenance, you don't have time to schedule that oil change, they'll actually go to your home. They'll go to your work. They make it very convenient for you, plus a great selection of new vehicles as well. Shawnee Mission Ford is on a mission to do more in 26.
Men, the new year is here, and if you're like many of us, you're ready to improve your health. But if you're feeling low energy, not sleeping well, or not seeing results in the gym, keeping that resolution can be tough. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if those symptoms sound familiar, we can likely help. They often point to low testosterone, and treating low T is what we do. But this year, we're also helping men go further with 4 targeted body composition plans featuring growth hormone peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more, designed to boost energy, support metabolism, enhance recovery, and accelerate fat loss. With our low T treatments combined with our body composition programs, most men notice real improvements. More energy, better focus, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and often a renewed sex drive as well. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or visit heartlandmenshealth.com.
Feature therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Hey, football fans, picture this. You bet on your favorite player to score the first touchdown in the game, but his teammate scores instead. If this happens, BetMGM wants to give you another chance at the end zone. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second instead. That's right. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. With BetMGM's second chance offer, you have a chance to keep the fun going after the first player crosses the goal line. Try a first TD score wager with confidence today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards paid back in unrestricted withdrawable funds. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
That's another amazing run by Team USA.
Mom, think I'll be on Team USA one day?
Well,
I'll take this one.
what? Are you speaking to us?
Yes, and to answer your question, anything's possible, especially with Xfinity.
So, I can be the best snowboarder ever?
Well, I can't guarantee that, but Xfinity can guarantee that your internet price won't change for 5 years.
Okay. What if I practice every day?
Then maybe you'll be snowboarding for Team USA at the next Olympic Winter Games. And Mom, you'll still be paying the same price for Wi-Fi.
Ooh, really stuck the landing there.
It's the Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get our best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed, just $50 a month. Plus, get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That's a $10.99 value per month. Xfinity. Imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary.
Hi, I'm Tom Shane. Since 1929, Shane Company has helped millions of customers find their dream engagement ring. I still hand-select every ruby and sapphire center stone, choosing each one for its unique color and life. We're proud to offer the widest selection of beautiful colored gemstones for your engagement ring and fine jewelry. Because a friend wants you to have nothing but the best. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
My Lowe's Pro Rewards members go big during Lowe's Pro Savings Days. Get member volume discounts plus an extra 5% off eligible orders with a quote of $2,000 or more. Plus, buy more and save more with up to 25% off DWV pipes when you spend $250 or more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 123. Exclusions, more terms and restrictions apply. Can't be combined with any contract or special pricing. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Visit the Pro Desk or Lowes.com/terms for more details. Subject to change.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Straight Talk presents The Math of More. Here's how it works. When you say yes to more with Straight Talk, you're left with more for all the other good stuff. So getting an unlimited plan starting at just $25 a month equals more savings for your family's weekend adventures. And with a network covered by Verizon, you can share more from wherever you go. It's simple math, really. More equals more with Straight Talk. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Taxes and fees apply. The $25 plan requires a compatible unlocked device and a new line of service. Additional terms apply.
Too many tools, too much stress, and way too many bills.
Odoo replaces it all. One connected platform for every part of your business, so you can work faster, smarter, and for less. Odoo, the only software you'll ever need. Try it free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Rob Sight Ford, KC's Ford volume leader and top rated on Google. 135th and State Line. Rob Sight Ford, your 2025 Ford volume leader. Top rated on Google with 4.8 stars and 3,000 plus reviews. The best selection, best prices, and Kansas City's best customer service. Visit Rob Sight Ford at 135th and State Line. Buy right, save big, and drive home a winner. Only at Rob Sight Ford.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
To take his team to the championship game. Here it is on the way, and the Denver Broncos have won it in overtime.
The call there on CBS, Jim Nantz, of course, as Will Lutz hit the chip shot field goal to move the Broncos into the AFC title game, and it was jubilation, and then all of a sudden, shock. I mean, I had a double
Genuinely
check.
shocking.
I had to double check to make sure it wasn't a fake account because I was like, there's no way. We didn't hear anything. He looked fine.
He did the post-game interview.
Bo Nix out for the season, just like that. Sean Payton didn't waste any time. I actually give Sean Payton credit for that. I think there's a lot of organizations
who might do the
that would have waited until today or Tuesday to announce, oh, by the way, Bo Nix broke his ankle or he broke a bone in his foot or whatever, and now it's Jarrett Stidham. Just to have like an extra 24 hours of advantage, I guess. But they didn't waste any time. He's like, we decided to just tell you guys right now. Like, yeah, he's going to have surgery on Tuesday in Birmingham, and it's Jarrett Stidham time. So as great as that win was for Denver, then you have just the gut punch that it is that, okay, it's got to be a backup quarterback leading us to a Super Bowl now. Good luck.
They went in 10 minutes time from we just got with a second-year quarterback to host the AFC title game with our boy Bo Nix to Jarrett Stidham starting for us. That had to be, like, if you're a Broncos fan, and I know that you weren't rooting for them in any way and still aren't in the postseason.
Right.
That had to be one of the single biggest gut punches. Because I was trying to think about it from this perspective. Any team you cheer for, if you just found out that the AFC runs through there and then all of a sudden Mahomes is hurt in that game, what a devastating blow that is. And the fact that there's at least
played really well too. I'll give him, we were down. I'll give him a ton of credit.
It's weird. He played big in some big moments. Mm-hmm. He made some throws and mistakes I thought were a little but like in the biggest moments of that game, he stepped up.
He outplayed Josh Allen.
Yeah, he did. And so like he stepped up. I thought he looked better than I was anticipating in that game. Look, the Bills defense didn't exactly send shivers down my spine, but I was impressed with the way Bo Nix played. For them to lose him in that moment at that time, that's brutal. The idea that there's even a remote possibility of a Sam Darnold, Jared Stidham Super Bowl is hilarious to me, though. I will admit, that combination is very funny. Because if I had mentioned that 4 years ago to you, you'd have thought I was the craziest person on planet Earth that we might watch Jared Stidham battle it out versus Sam Darnold. But
it's not even the Stidham part. If I would have just told you 5 years ago that, oh yeah, Sam Darnold might get a ring before Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow, you would have said, you just wouldn't stop. It would have been frankly, it would have been my same reaction.
You'd have called me an idiot.
It would have been the same reaction I had to trading Andy Reid. I'd be like, stop, let's
We're
be
not
realistic.
having fake conversations, and I'm not having fake conversations with you is how I would have treated it at that time. From their future perspective, it just depends on how you look at it. My problem with Bo Nix is still the same as a lot of quarterbacks. Bo Nix, in order for him to be the person that wins them Super Bowls, is going to have to take a pretty good size step forward in the next couple of years. This felt like...
Is he, though? I mean, he got him to the AFC title game.
I understand. But the way I still think that they're not going to be able to recreate the other great parts. They have a great defense.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that's easy to recreate, which means he is going to have to be even better, in my opinion, moving forward, especially, let's say, 2 years from now, when he's making a boatload of cash and all these other things. Like, it will get infinitely harder. And sometimes teams miss their 1 year opportunity or their 2 year opportunity. And in a year where you're going to host the AFC title game against Drake May, who's not been playing very well, I think, in this postseason, you'd had a real chance of going to the Super Bowl. You lose your starting quarterback to a broken bone in their foot. Oh, I mean, devastating blow. I genuinely thought it was fake at first.
Yeah, I only push back. I think you're right on the defense, that the Broncos aren't going to have the number one defense or number two defense for 7 straight years or something. I hear you. My only pushback would be the money part of the contract. Wait till Bo Nix. Normally, that's what we say. Remember, though, they still have $32 million on the books for Russell Wilson this year.
It's crazy.
So they actually have. They actually have. Now, it's
true.
Bo Nix will end up having a cap hit of like $50 million by the time he gets his contract, just because of the way the NFL works. But that's my only pushback on that. They actually have not been getting the benefit of a Bo Nix rookie deal. They're going to get that next year. Russell Wilson's number, I think, will finally be off the books this offseason.
Yeah, but I mean, but that means they only get the one, because the way this works is after year 3, you get the payday. So they got one more like cheap year, Bo Nix. And I understand years 4, 5, and 6 won't be like astronomically expensive. They're not going to be like out of control. They'll be like a manageable number. So just as long as they can kind of maintain it, I do think they'll have other opportunities to do it. There's no doubt. But this kind of goes to and not to the criticism angle, but this was, I think, for Denver, probably going to be their best chance to win the Super Bowl in the next 4 years. And I know you're like, well, how can you already make that determination? Because it was a year in which the playoffs lined up for them. They got to be the number 1 seed. Same thing for no Burrow, no Mahomes, no Lamar Jackson. They get an easier path than normal. Their schedule was easier than normal. They had it all lined up. And then in the third to last play or second to last play, your quarterback unexpectedly breaks a bone and is out for the season. It just feels like you missed it. The window was open for that moment and you missed it. I'm not saying for sure.
Yeah,
I'm not ruling it out.
I mean, you definitely have to capitalize while you're there. You and I were talking off air during the break. Just like we always, same thing with Mahomes. Right now, if I told you Mahomes will never go to a Super Bowl again, you'd say, okay, I'll bet against that happening.
Yeah.
But there is no guarantee. But at least he's got 3 in his back pocket. But the thing, you have to capitalize while you're there. So to your point, yes, the Broncos have to capitalize while they're here, and it's going to be very difficult to do that now with Jared Stidham.
Yep.
Josh Allen and the Bills did not capitalize this year. If you're Seattle and Sam Darnold, there's no guarantee Sam Darnold's got you back in an NFC title game ever again. You got to capitalize now. And so that is very, very true. Thinking of capitalizing while you have a great defense, the Texans, historically great defense, did not capitalize because their quarterback is playing at a terrible level.
Was he fixing the game? He's actively sabotaging them.
On Friday's show, we were discussing the Texans' chances. And why did they have a shot? Because of their defense. And why did they ultimately still have a shot late in that game? Because of their defense. But we also said, I think C.J. Stroud, more than any other quarterback that was still in the postseason, he gets flustered so easily. And once he kind of loses it, he has no ability to get it back. That was the exact scenario we gave Friday. And what happened early? He made a mistake early, and he had happy feet, and he couldn't get his mind right again, and he has no ability to bounce back. And that's 2 playoff games in a row where he was turning the ball over left and right. Multiple interceptions, 4 fumbles the week before, 4 interceptions or whatever it was, or 5, I guess, whatever it was this other day, yesterday against their opponent in New England. CJ Stroud does not look anything like what he looked like his rookie year. We did our top 10 list, and everybody was doing their top 10 list after his rookie year. He was in the top 10 for almost unanimously. Yeah. Maybe, I don't remember the order, but he was in the top 10. And now he is a shell of himself. I don't know what the hell has happened. He is not the same quarterback.
I think he has, especially in this postseason, legitimately, Chuck Knobloch, the yips. You could see it. And this is why D'Amico Ryans made his first egregious coaching error, in the sense that at halftime of that game yesterday, he had to go to Davis Mills.
Should have.
It was a mistake to not go to Davis Mills, because if Davis Mills starts the second half of that game, I think they win. I think they win the football game if Davis Mills starts the second half. And I don't say that lightly, because they were causing problems for Drake May, who looked uncomfortable, played poorly, keeps fumbling the ball.
Yeah, the fumbling's been that weather.
The real problem?
In the weather, the fumbling. That game had 8+ turnovers or whatever it was.
Yeah, I know. It was insane.
And so
game. Had they started Davis Mills, I think they win that football game. And CJ Stroud was in his head. They got to spend the rest of the offseason not even trying to figure out small things mechanically or this other stuff. They got to figure out for him not to shut down emotionally, physically, whatever it is, the second one thing goes south. Because he is a quarterback that when things are going well, he looks good, he can play the position. And when one thing goes bad, he falls apart. He fell apart in that game. He just kept giving the ball away over and over and over. They couldn't make good. I felt like 15 quarterbacks in the league would have been in the AFC title game yesterday. Maybe 20. I don't know how many guys I think in the league would have, with that team on that day, taken that team to the AFC title game.
I know you're worried about franchise implications of once you bench CJ Stroud in that spot, how do you handle that in the offseason? I get that. But your job is to win in that moment, get your team to an AFC title game. And D'Amico Ryans benching CJ Stroud would have given them a better opportunity. I'm with you. A better opportunity to win that game because their defense still was playing amazing. And somehow they had a chance late despite all those turnovers. So CJ Stroud is if we're going through, as much as we talk about Josh Allen, legacy-wise, it's a bigger hit for Allen's legacy. But in terms of career, CJ Stroud's career took a bigger hit. Because I don't know how on earth you can give him a massive extension after watching him play football in 2020,
somehow they'll do it.
2025, 2026.
It's crazy because the weird part of this is after they lost the thing, they had to go on this is how bad it was in the game. They went on the PR spin cycle after losing a playoff game, being like, he's our guy forever. We love CJ. We'd never. He kind of scoffed at the idea that they even consider.
What else are they going to say?
No, I understand, but they didn't have to go on the full PR tour for it. They could just say, CJ had a bad game. We didn't play well enough. We should have played better everywhere, not just CJ. They could have done that, but instead they were like, I assured him he's our guy. He has the yips. And the real question is, Gold, you're right. It is seemingly at the moment for him, game to game. When does it turn season to season? When does he step in there next year, week 1, and not have the confidence anymore that he can get the job done? Because he looked rattled in that game, and it just looked off. And it's been a weird playoffs anyway. We mentioned, first, the Seahawks had zero issue. They absolutely manhandled the 49ers. That might have been one of the very few things I got right in my postseason predictions, and the fact that I thought that was the game I was the most confidence.
Yeah, I had the most confidence that they would win.
You and I both had New England. I thought that, the Seahawks were correctly favored in that game. Maybe not. I didn't think they were going to win by 30 or 40. What the hell did they win by? 41-6?
Yeah.
35 points?
A lot of people were taking the Niners to cover, but you lost Kittle in the game before, and then you lose McCaffrey in it, and it opens up with Rashid Shaheed opening kickoff for a touchdown. Kind of was like the Indiana-Oregon game. Once you had that big play early on, you felt like, oh boy, this game might be over pretty quick.
It just felt like, if you were trying to simplify the divisional round down to one thing, you would just say turnovers like every other NFL game. It just felt like it was at some supercharged level. The losing quarterbacks just kept giving the ball away over and over and over and over and over and over and over again to an insane Stroud, Josh Allen. We on the NFC side, Purdy was the 49ers were giving the ball away. And then we even saw it in the Chicago game. Caleb Williams had some awesome awesome throws, including obviously the one that we all saw
Crazy.
to send the game to overtime. That throw was nuts.
Unreal.
He also had 3 turnovers in that game. So I don't want to pretend like he also didn't keep giving it away.
Yeah, with the exception of Josh Allen, what do we say going into the postseason? It's wide open. There's a lot of inexperience. Who has done anything other than Rodgers and Allen? And the answer was like, nobody else has. And we've kind of seen that with playoff performances by the quarterbacks. Yeah, I guess Matthew Stafford, throw him in the mix as well with the experience, but that's about it. And so the play has set that up. I also think if we're tying it back to Kansas City a little bit, you watch these performances, whether it's quarterbacks, whether it's teams, and I know you appreciate what the Chiefs have done, but I think it the insane nature of going to 3 Super Bowls in a row, when you see how difficult it is for some of these teams to get over the hump once or stack a game with another game, the fact that the Chiefs won back-to-back Super Bowls, let alone went to 3 of them, went to as many AFC title games as they did. Like,
it's crazy they didn't screw up more.
That's what I'm saying.
Fall
like,
short more.
And it's not that Mahomes has never made a mistake in a playoff game, but he doesn't make the mistake that costs him the game in a playoff game. I understand this year in the regular season he did, against Jacksonville. I'm talking about in the playoffs though, when they're going on when they've gone on these runs. They haven't had those, or they've been able to overcome those mistakes. These other teams, you watch them, they can't overcome it one time, and the Chiefs did it for 3 straight postseasons to get to a Super Bowl.
So many critical mistakes at critical times. It is kind of weird to go back and be, and again, I'll always appreciate this is not even if, and I don't think this is going to be the case, but as the text line pointed out earlier, even if the Chiefs go the rest of Patrick Mahomes' career and they don't win another Super Bowl, at least they closed the deal 3 times.
Yeah, you got the 3 Lombardis
someone
for
says
this generation.
I got 3 replica Lombardis in my living room, so thanks. Right? Because no matter what, they were really good. I think they were great at avoiding the catastrophic mistake. Because the mistakes you're talking about that the Chiefs made, even in some of those postseason runs, Gold, they happened early in the game. They were first quarter, second quarter, third quarter mistakes. These teams were trying to give it away at the end. Caleb Williams, and look, I don't even think that interception, I actually think the broadcast was right. What the hell was DJ Moore doing on that route? Why did he just quit on it? He just gave up on a route for seemingly no reason in a pivotal moment of a game and then gave the ball to Matt Stafford to make his own incredible throw. That throw to Devontae Adams on the sideline, a millimeter right, and it's incomplete.
It's a great catch.
And a millimeter left, and it's incomplete. And yeah, it does take special players like Devontae Adams to still make the catch. But you missed that throw an inch to the left or the right, it's no good. So, he had to make a perfect throw at the perfect moment. But I saw so many mistakes from key quarterbacks in that game.
And coaches all weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, Sean McVay's
I thought
fortunate.
Ben Johnson should have gone for 2. I said it in the moment. This isn't revisionist history.
I thought so. Sean McVay, the possession before the Bears last in regulation, it's right before the 2-minute warning. It's 3rd down. They decide to just run it, knowing they're not getting it, to run the clock. All they did was save 7 seconds. There was 2:07 on the clock. The Bears had 1 timeout left, if I'm not mistaken. It's 3rd and 10 or 3rd and 9. And the Rams run the football. They pick up a handful.
Concede.
It goes to the 2-minute warning. They punt back to Chicago. It leads to ultimately the game-tying drive. That you try to pass with your future Hall of Fame quarterback in Matthew Stafford. I was stunned just to save 7 seconds.
Trying to go win it.
It was only a 7-second difference too. That was bizarre from Sean McVay. There was so many coaching blunders throughout the weekend. And again, it just speaks to how impressive it is that the Chiefs have gone on the run that they have had.
It's just weird. The 2 Super Bowls they lost, I didn't feel like it was one thing. It was just a catastrophe, right? The Super Bowls they lost, they were just catastrophes. They weren't we made 1 critical moment and 1 critical mistake. They were just the worst team and got their ass kicked.
Right.
Did you hear, by the way, that Kevin Harlan call on that? For those of you watching the TV broadcast, Kevin Harlan, who's a Kansas City icon, obviously, he had a tremendous call.
It's 4th and 4 at the Ram 14, and in the gun is the quarterback, Caleb Williams. Looks into the nickel. Arms outstretched. 4th down and 4. 14 of the Rams. Shotgun snap. Goes back 4. 4-man rush. He's chased. He's flushed. He's all the way back to the 40. He's backpedaling and throws a pass into the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! Touchdown! Chicago has caught a touchdown pass with Cole Kmet open in the corner.
Insane. Kevin Harlan on Westwood 1 calling that game. Just one of the all-time great throws. And unfortunately, as you know how this goes, as you know, that throw in Chicago history and all that, it's just such a different vibe because they didn't finish the deal. It just is. It's insane. But I will say, if you're a Bears fan, you should feel amazing about your future. Caleb Williams did show you plenty that, he's that dude.
He just got to be more accurate. That's
you've
really
got a very creative offensive mind. Look, eventually, yes, they'll have to pay Caleb Williams. Do they need to get better on defense? Yes. All that is true. The expectations are Super Bowl or bust probably next year in Chicago versus just make the playoffs like they did. So it gets tougher, but they have one of those special quarterbacks in the league, and that we all know is the first and most difficult thing to achieve, and they have one of them, and so you always will have a shot.
There were, I did enjoy, this is like one of the outsiders' perspective. It brought me a little bit of joy. We'll talk more about the Bills specifically. It did bring me a little bit of joy to watch NFL fans lose their mind over the referees, realizing just now, I think for the first time, the refereeing impacts every game. You just thought it was every Chiefs game because you were only watching the Chiefs in the playoffs. Because there were many, as you can imagine, controversial calls, including one in the Bills game, including a nearly identical call in the Rams game that they called a catch.
They were not the same play. That drove me crazy. They were not the same play.
Similar, right?
Yeah.
Similar.
People are trying to
nature.
make the comp to the Brandon Cooks /interception and then the Devontae Adams knee on the ground. And they were not the same play.
No,
I get the controversy on the Bills one. Like that truly is you can make a case on either end.
And the second that you call it one way, it's unlikely to be called the other.
Yeah.
But this goes back to there were more late pass interference calls going the Broncos' way late that had really been called at any point in the game. You're like, turns out refereeing is inconsistent. And as Chiefs fans, we've been trying to tell you that for years. The refs aren't out to get your squad. They're not here to disservice you. They're not only calling things for the Chiefs. They're just not perfect. They're human beings, and human beings make mistakes. And in the playoffs, when you watch those mistakes, they all feel catastrophic. And they're not all catastrophic. Some are bigger than others. They're just people out here doing dumb things and causing problems sometimes. Well, all we ever ask for is consistency.
Well, what happens in the regular season is a lot of people, not everybody, a lot of people watch Red Zone. And so you only see that big moment. That's all you see. In the NFL playoffs, most fans are watching the entire game start to finish. So every call we all know. And so to your point, it's magnified and all that. Yeah, the officiating stinks in the league. Yes. Officiating stinks in the NFL. And to take Cody's point about being an ageist at times, as you were last week, the NFL officials they need to get younger. They really do.
Yeah.
They really have to get younger with officiating in the NFL.
Out there.
They got to, seriously, go watch a broadcast in this past weekend. Every officiating crew, I bet you the average age, and this is for, trying to keep up with 25-year-olds running around, and not to mention the vision aspect of it, probably the average age is 53.
I am kind of curious.
50 average age of an official? I really do think they have to get younger with some of it. And
the average age of an NFL official as of last year was 51.
Okay, I'm not surprised. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
It does feel like you could have some 25, 26.
Oh, I don't know if I want a 25-year-old that's never. No. How about 40?
Why can't a 25-year-old know? They can head coach. Because you have to have experience. Be the head coach of an NFL team.
But you have to be experienced a little bit. You have to deal with some of the aspects of you got to start in. But there's college officials that they should be working with college football more. They have a partnership now with the Big 12 to try to start training and grooming the next crop of officiating. They got to be focused on that more. Anyway, that's a whole nother topic. And they need to be full-time officials and all that.
There were phantom holding calls, misfaced masks.
Yeah.
PI calls where it was pass interference on one play. It looked identical contact. It wasn't pass interference on the other. It was this is how it goes. I just feel like they realized for the first time that it's not just Chiefs games that this takes place in.
Yeah, but people were still linking.
Literally every NFL game.
People were still in Buffalo. Were still linking. Somehow the Chiefs were still getting involved in that discussion.
How?
People were screenshotting the Xavier Worthy dual possession catch in the playoffs last year with the Brandon Cooks. Again, two different plays, not the same play, not the same dispute. But so the Chiefs were still somehow involved in that discussion, even though they weren't playing this.
I got to talk about the Bills later and the way that they took this loss, because it was the most crybaby experience I've seen out of a coach and fan base in a while. Nothing's ever your fault, huh? It's just everybody else's problem. You're the golden child and everyone else is to blame. We can talk about that later in the show.
Don't forget, coming up in a few weeks, we will have our Chiefs off-season show. We'll have everybody in studio. So Bob, Dusty, C-Dot, Cody, and myself, Tuesday, February 10th for the Chiefs off-season show. We'll be talking about who their new OC is, probably going to be Eric Bieniemy, and the draft and free agency and what happened in the Super Bowl. All that will be coming up in a few weeks. Up next, though, we do have a national title game tonight down in Miami. Indiana and Miami. One request, okay? One request for that game. And you were noticing something about each of these atmospheres over the weekend in the NFL postseason. We'll get to that next.
Cody and Gold.
I'm just telling you the facts.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. 96.5, The Fan.
We know as of this morning, McDermott's looking for work. Maybe you've been looking for a career, not a job, a career in IT, in cybersecurity, in technology. And that's where Centric can give you that new career in as little as 4 months.
And we're going to actually be out at Centric hanging out with Russ Mondry coming up on Wednesday, January 28th. They're holding a Centric workshop, and it's going to be completely low pressure, just hanging out. Maybe you've heard us talking about Centric, but you're really not sure. You want to see the facility and all that. Cody and I are going to be out there hanging out from 4 to 7 on Wednesday, January 28th over at Centric.
They'll walk you through the program. They'll talk to you about the classes and what they can do for you in that new career. So if you're looking to do that, January 28th is certainly that. But if you just want more information, talk to Russ, find out about that career at IT, and go to Centric.com.
Steve here with Connolly Plumbing Solutions, your neighborhood plumber. For January, after the holidays, we are offering to auger your main line or branch line for only $99 per hour. That's $100 off this month only. This also includes a camera inspection with mainline work. Don't start 2026 with things backing up. So call Connolly Plumbing Solutions at 913-768-7676 or visit ConnollyPlumbingSolutions.com to schedule.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth a little more.
I'm worth a lot more.
I completely agree. You are worth more, and your car's worth more, and we want to pay more at GiveMeTheVin.com for good cars because they are worth more, and so are you. And remember, if I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carvana deal, I'll pay you $100. For top price, trust, and ease of transaction, GiveMeTheVin.com, America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
The football playoffs are here, and Underdog is the best place to get in on all of the gridiron action. Right now, you can make entries and win money in Missouri. And playing on Underdog is so easy. Just choose if your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats, like touchdowns, rushing yards, receptions, and more. Get them right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. And I love playing on the Underdog app. Not only do I like football, but I love basketball and hockey as well. I can mix and match selections from each sport into one entry to see what I do. So what are you waiting for? Download the app today and use promo code BOB to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code BOB. Underdog. Make plays, win money. Must be 18 and over and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms. _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Up to 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified vehicles in Kansas City, starting as low as 1.9% for 72 months.
0% event and a lifetime warranty. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Based on January 2025 through June 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
Escape to your new coastal seafood paradise. Introducing Aqua Pennies, where the freshest seafood, a full-service raw bar, prime steaks and chops, exquisite handcrafted cocktails, and a one-of-a-kind atmosphere come together in perfect harmony. Aqua Pennies is now open in Park Place, Leawood. Don't miss out. Experience something truly different. Tantalize your taste buds and elevate your evening out. To learn more, go to aquapennies.com.
Coast into Aqua Pennies, now open for lunch.
Midwest, winter 2026, Airman. Say, how's that utility bill? Even your level payment plan seems like it's tilting uphill? But wait, Airman here with some good news to re-level the playing field. Midwest Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing is now offering up to $1,400 in rebates on qualifying Lennox home comfort systems. But hold on, there's more. Midwest is also stepping up with 60 months 0% financing with approved credit. And the newest Lennox systems produce air that is more pure, run quieter, and are significantly more efficient. So much so that your new lower utility bill will seem like a late Christmas present. $1,400 rebate and 60 months at 0%. Now that's more like it. Go to MidwestHeating.com or dial 943-8787 for details. And as so many of your neighbors have for the past 7 decades, trust your air to the best. Midwest Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hola, amigos! It's a big noise. Brad Evans from BetMGM tonight. Listen Monday through Friday starting at 6 p.m. Eastern on Westwood One Sports as we cover the biggest sports stories from coast to coast. Get insights on the NFL playoffs, college basketball conference races, and more. Download the Odyssey app now and listen from anywhere. BetMGM tonight, live and interactive, presented by BetMGM. Tune in, Team Huevos.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state, only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Hey, Royals fans, it's Vern, and the Hot Stove Show is back Thursday night starting at 6 o'clock right here on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
All right, 11 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. We will get back into the news of the day, which is the Chiefs, no surprise here, but have requested permission to interview Bears running back coach, former Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy for their vacant offensive coordinator position. We'll get back into that in the Chiefs Red Half Hour. We'll also discuss more on what is going on in Buffalo. If you just waking up, sleeping in today, I guess, a little bit. Sean McDermott was fired
people off of work
by the Buffalo Bills. Yes, there are a decent amount of people off of work today. For those of you out there working in the cold weather and stuff, we appreciate you. You guys hanging out with us, listening on the Odyssey app, wherever you listen. Also, video stream up and running as well if you want to watch the show. Maybe you normally don't get to watch the show, but you're home today. If you want to pop over to YouTube or Twitch, Facebook, you name it, check out the show there.
What percentage of America gets Martin Luther King Jr. Day off? What do you think?
That's a great question. I have no idea. Obviously, it's a federal holiday,
service industry job, though. You know, every restaurant's going to be open. According to a report in 2020, 42% of employers in the United States gave employees the day off.
There you go. So there's your answer.
So
there's your answer.
So maybe 50-50? About half of you getting work off. My wife was off of work. My kids are off of school.
Yeah, makes sense.
My youngest son. So I was doing the kitchen stuff I told you over the weekend. I demoed my entire backsplash. No. I destroyed the whole backsplash, so I got rid of all the old one. Well, demoed it. Okay. So it's all torn up. I did fresh drywall. I did mudding and taping. But the mud and tape, you're supposed to do like 24 hours in between like sanding and stuff. So I couldn't tile this weekend because that takes so long to dry and then sand it and make it look nice. But in the middle of all of that, my son over the weekend has decided the only thing he wants to do with any of his time is trick shots.
Trick shots.
So he's like setting up laundry baskets and trying to like bounce ping pong balls off of things or like spinning stuff and then shooting off of there. Or he wants to like, It's exhausting. There's just so many because there's a million different trick shots you can try. This is all the fault of guys like Dude Perfect, which I did impress him because I told him I had met 2 people from Dude Perfect once, although he seemed unimpressed by the people I had met from them. It wasn't the right people. He must have a favorite Dude Perfect guy because there's a guy named Cody in there and Garrett and some others, and I met the wrong ones, I guess. You ever meet any Dude Perfect guys?
I've never watched that show in my life.
Who's the most famous non-athlete you've met?
Oh, that's a great question. Most famous non-athlete. Oh, man. I have to think about it. I have to give me a second.
Think about it for a little bit. I know mine's Justin
Drew, do you have an
Timberlake,
answer? I'm trying to. Well, there you go. That's a great answer.
I mean, I don't think that I've done better than
famous non-athlete. Man. Yeah, you have to give me some time.
I also impressed my daughter this weekend because she finally watched the second Wicked, and I told her I had met the Wizard of Oz because it's Jeff Goldblum, who I met one time on a Super Bowl Radio Row. Very random. Just think about it for a little bit. You don't have to give me the answer yet. I rack your brain.
Yeah, there's got to be somebody, but I'll have to think about that.
Let's instead switch to Drew's neck of the woods. College football ends tonight. National championship game, Indiana versus Miami. Indiana, I would call pretty sizable favorite for a national championship game that is in Miami's backyard. I mean, it's in Miami. That's why the get-in price was so steep and maybe still is for the college football playoff. Someone talked me into this being close. Drew, anybody?
I just don't want to be a blowout.
I feel like at halftime, I'm not going to want to watch this game anymore. Somebody want to tell me it's going to be different than that?
I'm hoping that it's competitive. That's my only request tonight, truly. Like, low bar. I really don't care who wins, ultimately. Just give me a competitive game here. I hope this is not Indiana, Oregon all over again, where it's just non-competitive. I actually want Miami, I think, to jump out to an early lead because that ensures it being a little bit more competitive. Indiana, I will be fairly shocked if they don't win. The question, as we all know, is Miami's defensive front. As good of the opponents have been that Indiana has played, they haven't seen a front like this, and so maybe that wrecks the day. Maybe that's what wrecks the day, and it keeps it close, and it gives Miami a shot. I think Miami is the 4th best defense at creating sacks in college football this year, but I just want a close game. I know that's like, oh, duh, but
it's
that's
such
really
a small ask, please. Indiana's been playing blowouts, massacres, not even just wins. They have been steamrolling the competition. They're going to, if they end up completing this, we're going to discuss this Indiana team is one of the greatest college football teams ever. They'll have to have done more work than most of the other great college football teams. Like Joe Burrow's team, who I think currently...
that LSU team was...
That would be my list as the single greatest college football team of all time. It certainly helps that they had like 5 future All-Pros on the team. But that, to me, right now is the single greatest college football team to ever exist.
They'd be in that conversation.
But they would have had to go through 2 additional games through top 5 ranked opponents, Drew. I mean, like, the path for the college football playoff teams is harder now, too. Because you have to, like, not slip up even further. Not just get through your regular season schedule. Get through the whole damn thing. Do you think this game's going to be close, Drew? You watch more college football than the rest of us. I think they're going to win by 14.
I think that Indiana can win by 14. I think if Miami wins, it's going to be a close game. I think Miami can make it a close game. If you look at, the way that the teams are built, they're foundationally very good. Both teams are on offense and defensive line. Like they're outstanding at those spots. And then you got Malachi Toney, Mark Fletcher's come on and been great for Miami. Carson Beck has been really good when they needed him to be. Of course, with Indiana, you got the trio of wide receivers and Roman Hemby and Fernando Mendoza, of course. Like it feels like it's a who's who of talent. I think that if Miami is, if they get off to a good start, it'll be interesting to just see because Indiana's been the team that's gotten off to that hot start in both of the games that they've played. Like they got out hot against Alabama, came out hot against Oregon. It feels like if I think Miami can keep it close, but if Miami's up 7-0 early, it would just be interesting to see how Indiana plays because it's a spot that they haven't been in the college football playoff. Not that they can't overcome it because they were that way against Ohio State. And
they're just going to have to get the lead early, though.
But it feels like Miami can keep it tight. It's just, can Carson Beck limit mistakes and not turn the ball over? And for the most part, he's done a good job of that, and that's why Miami is where they are.
Yeah, I think for them to keep it close, they have to get out to an early lead, though. That's my only thing with Miami. I think they cannot be down 10-0 early. If they are, then I don't think we're going to have much of a competitive. I think they'll be able to keep them Indiana well at arm's length for much of the game. But the fun part is if Miami opening drive touchdown 7-0, there we go. But Indiana,
I think they got to jump into a leader. It's dead.
Indiana may not have the defensive front that Miami has, but Indiana is a top 5 defense still in college football. So hopefully, I truly just want a good game. Otherwise, it's going to suck in a way to end the college football season. But we'll see. Yeah,
I think Miami's better than what people are giving them credit for.
I mean, look, I give them a lot of credit for. I didn't think they were good enough to make it to the final. So they're obviously playing better football than I give them
like
credit
a month into
for.
the season, we were talking about, is Miami the best team in football? I think that's. I think we're looking at the way that they looked throughout the season when they lost to SMU or to Louisville, but I think that
it does skew it though.
This team, but I know, but this team is playing like we thought they could be a month into the season, which was the best team in football. Their offensive line and defensive line are so good.
The resume for Indiana, they have beat up Oregon, Ohio State.
And they won by 3 points. It was 13-10 against Ohio State.
Ohio State maybe wouldn't have beat up. But Oregon, they smoked them twice.
Again,
and they beat the hell out of Alabama.
Miami beat Ohio State by 10. I think people are not giving Miami enough credit for how good
So
they
are you
actually
on?
are.
Do you think they cover tonight, 8.5?
Yeah, are you on Miami to cover?
I think Miami covers.
8.5's a lot of points for a national title game.
Yeah, it is.
A lot of points. Again, the formula, I think, if you tell me Miami gets up early, then I think it's game on.
We're rooting for Indiana, right, to complete the magical story?
I don't really care.
I just think if you're the fan of a small school who's always seemed hopeless that they could ever win if Kansas, for instance, Indiana has made it technically, before it was impossible. It was a 0.00000% chance pretty much Kansas ever won a national championship. Indiana's given all the schools hope, life. It's weird. They were the worst college football program in history.
Dylan Edwards is now going to lead them to a title. You're right.
I'm not saying it's going to happen.
Right.
I still think you might need to get your Signetti, and I do not think that Lance Leipold is that. But what
There's
a story
lot of
for
teams
him.
who missed out on Kurt Signetti.
Unbelievable.
He was at James Madison just sitting there for a couple of years. Anybody could have gone that right.
Man,
we'll see. This is one of the rare games. Like, I know I'm supposed to have an opinion on who I want to win. Like, truly, like, I have plenty on the NFL.
You just want it to be close.
Normally I have for college football. I really don't care who wins tonight. I understand the historical aspect of Indiana winning, and that part to cap it all off and complete this story
Single
that'll
greatest
be in a
turnaround.
Disney movie here very soon. I get it. But also Miami's a hell of a story.
Hope they do a better job casting than
since
Kevin James or Sean
2000.
Payton.
It's been since like 01 or whatever for Miami. So,
This definitely is a future Disney movie, isn't
It's been over 2 decades, and Mario Cristobal's coaching at his alma mater, and Fernando Mendoza's
It's in
back
their
home.
backyard.
It feels like there's a lot. There's so many storylines to go with this national title game.
We'll get to the trash of the day here in 7 minutes or so, but back to the NFL and everybody watching some of these games, and the weather was definitely a factor in at least 2 of them.
So, I'll be honest, even though I'm excited about the potential of what a new stadium environment could look like and a district around it for Arrowhead, and I didn't want them to renovate Arrowhead, okay? I wanted them to build a new stadium. I did not want them to build a dome, and I want to point that out as I say this. When I watch the playoffs in this round, I am going to, and it made me very sad, I am going to miss the outdoor atmosphere and the atmosphere that Arrowhead has been based on watching real road environments in the playoffs. Watching teams have to go to Chicago. And I know they lost, but like that was a real environment that had an impact on the game.
Yeah, and Chicago's new stadium is going to be indoors
too.
Yeah.
Watching New England have a real outdoor environment. Even watching Seattle's stadium having a real impact on the game. In watching that, it made me realize that I don't have that much left at Arrowhead having that kind of impact. Because when they go to a dome, even though I think Chiefs fans are part of the reason that Arrowhead's atmosphere is what it is.
Sure.
I am not saying the new stadium will be without an atmosphere. I am not saying that it can't have an impact on an imposing fan base. But it'll never be Arrowhead. And the weather elements I like in football and I want as a part of football, and that's going to get washed away. This weekend in particular just had me feeling nostalgic for the like playoff atmosphere, cold, flurries coming down Arrowhead part. I was kind of sad.
I'm with you for the most part. Certainly, you're not going to replicate Arrowhead. I think the question will be, and we saw this in the rendering from the new Commander Stadium. If you look, remember SoFi has this kind of where it's open. The key is not only like the element to make it look like it's outside with the windows and everything that they have, the translucent roof or whatever, but I think the Commanders already said they're going to have the end zones, the giant windows there that can actually open up. Now, maybe that helps a little bit. You're never going to get the blizzard, to your point, if that's what you're wanting.
If it was like the weather in New England, their windows are closed.
Right, and that's the thing. Now, I will. My only pushback to what you said is
that was a pretty ugly game.
8+ turnovers. Are we sure? Like, I'm 100% from the atmosphere. We've all been to a cold weather game at Arrowhead. There's something special about that, and having to bundle up and you're tailgating and your feet are frozen and you're bringing in a piece of cardboard. Like, all that, trust me, we've been there before.
That feels like playoff football, though.
And it is. I'm totally with you. But from a play standpoint, that Texans-Patriots game was ugly as hell because of the weather as well. Some people like that. I'm just saying, was that the most aesthetically pleasing game to watch? I don't actually think so. But man, the fact though that the two games you mentioned, only New England is staying outdoor, only Seattle is staying outdoor. Chicago, whenever they get their stadium figured out, they're going indoor. The Chiefs, we know, are going indoor. We know Cleveland are going indoor. The Titans are going indoor. Buffalo, New England, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Seattle.
But Seattle's in a neutral weather.
It's got a little. Yeah, I mean it snows in Seattle plenty.
But they don't get that much snow, do they?
Seattle gets very cold in the wintertime.
Okay, I didn't think they got much snow, but maybe.
But out of the cold weather cities that have outdoor stadiums, yeah, we're losing them for sure. Green Bay, I forgot to mention them. Duh. Green Bay, of course, still.
But it's down to like 10 or less, because Seattle, for the most part, it doesn't get quite as cold. It definitely gets cold, but it's not Chicago, Philly, Kansas City.
Sure.
And look, there are some cities that like Minneapolis. It's insane to have an outdoor stadium there. It's too much snow. Like it's like that. Like Buffalo. Like for Buffalo's sake, it's like you get this lake drift snow. What the hell are you doing?
Yeah, but their new stadium design, you saw that.
They designed.
I think was it 70% of their seats will actually be covered. It's outdoors, but that's actually a pretty cool design that they're doing in Buffalo. And now they're going to have a new head coach for their brand new stadium next year.
Yeah, which is
we'll
a whole
get back
other
into
part
Sean McDermott being fired,
which we will. But like, didn't it make you feel like when you were watching that? Didn't anybody else just be like, "Damn, we're going to be missing out on that"? I understand the ugly nature that can happen when it gets like too messed up, right? Like the New England Patriots game, Gold. They're just handing the ball away, or that Chiefs Steelers playoff game or Miami game in which it was like negative a gajillion. But I do kind of I don't think they're going to do a retractable roof, and I think it's going to be a dome, and it will never feel the same again. That's all.
It's going to be a dome. I always love like this text is like as if you and I have control over this. Just rename it then. You guys don't want football to be football? Just rename it too. Many rules have already been like. Why are you mad at us?
Someone says turnovers are exciting. You didn't think that was interesting?
Not 8 of them. But like this,
there's a limit for you, huh?
Like whoever texted, I get your frustration about it not being outdoor, but like I have no say in what's happening. Why you guys? What are we talking about?
I guess here's the real question: are there fans who want the dome? Because like, and it doesn't matter.
There are some. I think there are some.
That's why I'm asking. Yeah. I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm asking you. 913-586-7965. If you want a dome, tell me. I'm kind of curious. Because I think there's plenty of people, and don't answer, well, I want a retractable roof. Nah, that's not what I asked.
Yeah.
What I asked is, do you want a dome? As in, they put some windows up and you can see some sun coming through, sure. Because new domes don't feel like old domes. I'll give them that. It's
not the RCA
When
dome.
you're there, it feels like it. But you're inside, Gold, wearing your AFC Championship t-shirt, and that feels weird.
For sure.
That feels weird. It's the middle of January, and it's just like today. You imagine playing a playoff game out there? Gold,
someone
you need the
texted
cardboard
in.
and everything else.
Someone says, my wife wants a dome because she doesn't like it to be cold, LOL. So I think there's some people. But in general, yeah, football is meant to be played outdoors.
Domes are dumb, PSLs are dumb.
Yeah.
Screw corporate America.
Again, it's like
just going all the way.
Like it's one of those like I think majority of people agree.
I imagine there's
they should be outdoors. A majority. There's people that but at the same time, like I also know why they're going indoors. Right? Both can be true. You know why they're going indoors. Yeah. But we can also still wish they were outdoors. Both can be true. All right, let's get to the trash.
Trash of the day.
So this one involves a little audio. It was a commercial that I think aired for the first time this weekend. Malik Neighbors, who unfortunately missed most of the season with that knee injury, he'll be back. He'll have a new head coach in John Harbaugh with Jackson Dart and company. And we all know, anybody that's been in a fantasy football league, you know if you finish last, most leagues have a punishment of some sort. Not all, but most. And a couple years ago, I think the one that went viral the most was the individual that sat in McDonald's or sat in an IHOP and had to stay there for 24 hours, but each menu item he ate knocked off an hour or whatever. And Drew, I think, still has a bet involving that actually with us on the show. So Malik Neighbors, they played that up with this IHOP commercial.
Every year, Thousands of fantasy football leagues make their last place team spend 24 hours at IHOP eating pancakes. And IHOP wants to help.
Just like you helped everyone's fantasy team this season?
Which is why IHOP is launching bottomless pancakes. It's a big win for last place fantasy finishers and anyone who loves pancakes.
Are you Malik Neighbors?
Yeah, that's me.
I wasted my first round pick on you. Ugh.
Can we get this kid some pancakes? Get free bottomless pancakes with select breakfast combos only at IHOP.
You know what? I like Malik Neighbors having a sense of humor about it.
Yeah. Well, you got a nice check. I'd have a good sense of humor, too.
For the check?
Yeah.
But look, I had Malik Neighbors in a couple of leagues.
Yeah.
Certainly did not help that team succeed.
Nope.
That he got injured immediately and got hurt immediately. And, of course, it's so funny to look now to be like, that's why Harbaugh, that still's got to be appealing. They're like, Jackson Dart looked okay, and he didn't even have Malik Neighbors for most of the time. So what could he do with a real number one wide receiver, which certainly Neighbors appeared like he has a possibility of doing? I like it when people poke fun at themselves. I like that Neighbors can be like, hey, come to IHOP where you can have your 24 hours of pancakes because I screwed this up for you. It would probably be even more poking fun at yourself if you didn't get hurt and you just had a bad year, but still.
Yeah. Someone said that commercial's been on for weeks. Yeah,
Sorry, first time I saw it was this week.
Yeah, I didn't see it. Did not see it. Pretty well done, though. Pretty well done. All right, elsewhere for trash of the day, we go to England for this one. And I've seen signs that there's companies that'll do that, and you and I both have pets.
Yeah.
So you've dealt with this. I don't think I've ever paid someone for it, though. Someone said on this article from the New York Post that a father of four in England is making $30,000 a year picking up dog waste from people's yards. He has 35 customers who pay about $19 a week for his services. He works 12 hours a week, spread over 2 days. He earns more in 1 day of poo scooping than in a 10-hour construction shift. That's what this guy says.
$19 a week people are willing to pay to not pick up their dog crap?
I think they charge more. If you go look, the company I saw here locally charges even more than that.
More than $19 a week?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we're doing the wrong job. We've all got the wrong... Maybe I should stop teaching.
Seems like a good side gig. Could you just go Friday afternoon after the show and go pick up some
He's just doing it 2 days a week.
Yeah.
He works 12 hours. He said he works 2 6-hour days, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, would you want to really do that, though?
I don't know, man.
Here's the thing, Cody.
I've said this before. You give me headphones and all that other stuff, I can do almost any job.
I can't smell anyway, so even easier of a job for me.
I hate mowing and trimming of weeds and all that stuff. Picking up dog poop never seems like that big of a deal. Like, that feels like I like that less. I like doing that probably more as a chore than I like mowing the grass or trimming the bushes or any of the other nonsense that comes with yard work. Picking up dog poop takes like 10 minutes. Like, if you, how big's your yard? It can't take that long. Anybody who's asking you to do that doesn't have acreage. They're not asking you to cover like 1.5 clicks back in their yard, because if they got a yard that big, they don't care where the dog craps. Just move on. Are you good? Are you a good pet owner? You take them down to the park, you pick it up?
Yeah. We have a dog park at our apartment complex.
I bet there are people that don't clean it up.
Oh, for sure. That have bags right there.
Well, when I take the dog for a walk, there's a big long path, and they've got little holders for the bags everywhere. Trash cans right next to it. It's great.
That's the exact setup.
So it takes almost no work
throughout the apartment complex
to clean it up. Although I will say, my dog, and maybe this is just because if I take her for a walk, she poops inside of the first 30 seconds. I don't even get away from the house.
Really?
Yeah. Second we start walking, she's it's time.
I wish my dog sometimes has to find the perfect spot. Especially when it's cold out, it's like, let's go here. Come on.
Hustle.
Freezing. And no. Got to find the perfect spot. Oh, man. Now, when it snows, she is good about that. Like, she's like, I don't even want to deal with this. And she's quick. But otherwise, no.
Problem I have right now, so we got a cat, as you know, over the Christmas break.
Yes.
The cat is more bothersome to the kids' food than the dog. The dog doesn't try to steal the kids' food, none of that. Just, whatever. They drop something, she'll eat it, but nothing. The cat's been getting on the table. The cat's a fatso, trying to get up on the table and eat the kids' food, licking Pop-Tarts and stuff. It's crazy.
Do you see this text? Is this what you're not picking your... Someone says, wait, you guys don't just mow up your dog poop? No.
I usually pick it up. I mean, if there's
mowing
I don't pick up every single one.
What? You just chop your... What? That's not...
I don't think if it's someone's house, I don't think everybody just picks up poop out of their backyard.
Of course not, but I also...
That's what he's saying.
Well, sure.
You just mow.
For sure.
Wait for it to go away.
But you're not doing it because you think you're mowing it. You're just doing it because you're just saying nature will do its thing and it'll go into the ground and move on.
Yeah. But I think maybe the mowing, it speeds it up, You
really?
think you get into the ground.
That can't be good for your mower, right?
Good for your grass, probably.
Yeah, it's fertilizer.
I mean, what's it going to do? It's not going to, make the blade dull, right?
Yeah. That's the trash of the day. Fertilizer, I know. Also, though, if you got kids that playing in the backyard, though, you don't want them playing in the dog crap.
No, that's true. But that's when you go out and you do the good cleanup. But if, like, you got a kid's friend over and they're going to go play, or going to go play baseball, like, all right, I need 10 minutes to make sure the yard's not full of dangerous dog poop for your shoes.
All right, up next, let's get back into some of the news today that the Chiefs have formally requested an interview with Eric Bieniemy to come back and be their offensive coordinator, and two names that might end up in Kansas City on the player side of things.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Football playoffs over the weekend. They're here, and Underdog is the best place to get in on the gridiron action because you can make entries and win money right now in Missouri. You know, there happens to be playoff action tonight as well, just not from the league and instead from college. That's where you can make those entries over at Underdog. Super easy. Just choose your favorite players to go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, rushing yards, receptions, and so much more. Plus, you can choose points and more over at Underdog. I like Mendoza to go higher than 223.5 passing yards tonight, and you can do the same and get them right and win up to 5,000 times your cash. It's super easy, plenty of different ways to play, and you can see them all over at Underdog. So what are you waiting for? Download the app today. Use promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P. Underdog. Make plays, win money. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/playing-terms_DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Hi, I'm Lacey, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. And yes, I'm actually a jeweler. I bring dream engagement rings to life every day in our jeweler workshop. When I hand set your diamond into your ring, I think about creating a piece you'll wear for a lifetime. I pay attention to the smallest details and treat every ring with the same care and craftsmanship, no matter the size or price. Come see us in store. Shane Company engagement rings are crafted with care from our hands to yours, because a friend knows your love deserves the highest quality. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down. 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we are improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000, or go to RexBuysKC.com. That's RexBuysKC.com, and I look forward to working with you.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event, up to 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified vehicles in Kansas City, starting as low as 1.9% for 72 months.
0% event and a lifetime warranty. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Based on January 2025 through June 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
Escape to your new coastal seafood paradise. Introducing Aqua Pennies, where the freshest seafood, a full-service raw bar, prime steaks and chops, exquisite handcrafted cocktails, and a one-of-a-kind atmosphere come together in perfect harmony. Aqua Pennies is now open in Park Place, Leawood. Don't miss out. Experience something truly different. Tantalize your taste buds and elevate your evening out. To learn more, go to aquapennies.com.
Coast into Aqua Pennies, now open for lunch.
Paramount Plus is the new home of UFC, and we're coming out swinging with UFC 324.
Oh, what a shot!
And 325. Boom! On back-to-back weekends, the new era is here.
It's time!
Every fight.
Bam! Let's go!
One subscription.
Oh my goodness!
Pay-per-view just got knocked out.
Let's go!
back-to-back blockbuster UFC events this month only on Paramount Plus. This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Honey, that flu keeping you up? Did you take NyQuil Intense Flu?
Nah, I got this. Okay, I don't got this.
Yeah, you need NyQuil Intense Flu.
Undo your flu with NyQuil Intense Flu. NyQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms so you can sleep.
You do got this.
NyQuil Intense Flu. The nighttime sniffling, aching fever. Best sleep with the flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
We'll get into a couple names that could end up in Kansas City on the player side of things, but the news that involves the Chiefs the most today in the NFL is Eric Bieniemy, and nobody is stunned by this development. I think if you've been listening to this station, period, for the last couple of weeks, you know that this was likely where this was trending, and that is the Chiefs have, according to multiple reports, officially requested permission to interview Eric Bieniemy. And the reason why they had to wait a little bit as well, or chose to, is Eric Bieniemy is the running back coach for the Bears. They just got eliminated. So now it's the offseason for the Chicago Bears as well. And so at some point between now and the rest of the week, they will interview Eric Bieniemy. The question is, do they interview any other candidates? It sure doesn't seem like it at this point in time. And I know Nate Taylor was on with us 2 weeks ago and said that he was a real target and that Patrick Mahomes would be on board with this. And ultimately, that's kind of all that matters. I think a couple things can be true at the same time. We can all acknowledge that the success of the 2026 Chiefs offensively, other than personnel, is going to be predicated on Andy Reid's ability to get this thing corrected, whether it is new ideas that he has, whether it is listening to others, whether it is acknowledging their flaws, whether it is a new wide receiver coach and running back coach, which it will be. It's all going to ultimately
and technically
be
a new offensive coordinator, just
right,
the one from before.
It's all going to be on him if they have success or don't have success. But at the same time, I think I can still be bummed out that it looks like they're just going to run it back with Eric Bieniemy. That's the part that I think is, I guess, frustrating, is that they were not willing, it appears, barring some sudden shift, to even really consider an option that hasn't already been here. And that's a little frustrating and worrisome. But for Eric Bieniemy, it's a hell of a system for you. A hell of a setup, I should say, for you. You come back, you're in a no-lose spot. If the offense is great, fans are going to give you all the credit and say, see, Matt Nagy sucked. Look at the offense now, even though it most likely will just be Andy Reid adapting. And if the offense is average again and this team doesn't make the playoffs and all that, everybody's going to be, as they should, be going for Andy Reid.
It takes a number of steps to get there. So I want to say that I'm still not there yet, technically, because it takes a number of steps to get there. But this is another step towards it's going to be easy for me if at the end of this year they do not play well, Gold. It will be easy for me to say Andy is unwilling to change, and that is a problem. Because this move feels like a coach unwilling to make a real adjustment. Because it is uninspiring. It is the same person who was the OC with you a few years ago. Your only two OCs are Nagy and Bieniemy. The whole time? Like, I get it, they had Peterson earlier, but I mentioned, we were talking Bieniemy last week, how it's been so long with Doug Peterson. He has gotten a head coaching job, won a Super Bowl, got fired, got a different head coaching job, and has been fired from that job since then, and has been fired from that job for many years. So, like, it's been a long time since Doug Peterson was anywhere attached to this organization.
It feels like it's been years. We were just talking about this last week. Doug, not to get on the Doug Peterson thing real quick, though, he is actually only 1 year removed from being a head coach in the league. Liam Cohen took over for him, right?
God, it does feel like it's been a while.
04, 05.
Yeah.
Or not 04.
Yeah, that sounds
24,
right.
25.
Maybe he got fired in the middle of the year, so it was a year and a half.
Okay.
So we had the half year of interim head coach stuff, so maybe that's why it feels longer. But it is the least inspiring thing you can do other than bring back Matt Nagy. The only that's it. That would have been the only thing less inspiring than this. And I guess part of it is, and my issue is, if you talk to everybody in the league, because about half of the offensive coordinator jobs in the league are open. There are 10 head coaching openings. They all need offensive coordinators. And then there's a bunch of teams who have also fired their offensive coordinator. So it's about half the league. It's like 16, 17 job openings. This doesn't actually feel like you legitimately conducted a search. Because as of right now, the only thing I see is Eric Bieniemy is likely to be the next offensive coordinator amongst considering candidates. So you guys, Diana Rossini, the group of NFL guys who call themselves the Insiders, Adam Schefter, not a single one of you can drum up a single actual name that they have considered for offensive coordinators in any of your sourcing. That's because they didn't actually consider anyone. They interviewed one 25-year-old who's already on their offensive staff, said, well, he ain't ready, and then just said, come on down, EB. Look, I will hope, because this is the other part about it. You and I talk about this as I want Eric Bieniemy to succeed here. I want the offense to get back to be good. I will hope that Eric Bieniemy will bring a level of discipline as far as missed routes and accountability. Maybe they haven't had.
Yes.
Patrick Mahomes did specifically request that, so okay.
Right.
I will hope that he learned some stuff from the Ben Johnson run game attack that I love, and he is willing to implement and help Andy Reid implement some of that strategy into their run game.
Be great. That'd be great.
So there are some possibilities it could still work. I don't want to tell you that there's a 0% chance that the Eric Bieniemy, if he gets hired, which it certainly looks like it's barreling towards that, as the OC of the Chiefs can't work.
But again, Cody, if it
just feels uninspiring.
But again, it's not a 0% impact, just like Matt Nagy isn't completely absolved by any means from the struggles last year. But ultimately, this is going to still be more about Andy Reid, and other than the personnel, about Andy Reid and what he does. I think EB can help them in certain areas, and that's why I keep saying it's a no-lose spot for him. He's going to get all the credit in the world, or he won't get any blame because it'll be on Andy Reid. So like it really is. I mean, if you're EB and you get offered the gig, it's a no-brainer. Come back to Kansas City and be the offensive mind to go with Andy Reid, and you get a rare job in the NFL where you're kind of absolved from real criticism.
Helps.
It's a weird spot to be in.
It's rare. I would say that it hasn't happened in a very long time that you could just be free of it. And so like that part always intrigues me for a variety of reasons. But yeah, Bieniemy, why wouldn't you take the job? What risk is it? I mean, legitimately, it is zero risk for Bieniemy. Because you're right. If they're good, people are going to be like, see? Nagy, the guy was no good. Bieniemy's cracking the whip. We're all squared away here. Things are good, right? He's holding everybody accountable. But people just be ready to run Andy Reid out of town. I still will say, as it relates to Andy Reid, before you guys are ready to be like, Andy won't change. Again, this feels like a move for a coach who won't. I still think it is incredibly premature to just say the game's passed Andy by, get his ass out of town. I'm shocked at the number of Chiefs fans who are ready to jump on that.
After 1 year.
Because
and I know the offense
previous 3 years he was in the Super Bowl. I can't. I just can't.
Yeah.
Maybe you're better than me. Maybe you're looking in the crystal ball and you are the soothsayer of the future and you know that this ain't going to work out and this is the beginning of the end and you were just more ahead of the times than me. Fine. I'll be behind on this one because for a team that went to back Super Bowls and won 2 of them, I'm not ready to write a man off after a single season. If Andy, for the most part, in his tenure in Kansas City, has been incredibly right almost all the time, okay? Just has been.
Yeah.
And so, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on this hire for at least a little bit, but it scares me. It scares me.
As we keep saying, it is a massive 2026 for everybody involved in the organization. For Brett Veach, for Andy Reid, so much can change based on what does or doesn't happen in 2026. From 913-586-7965, someone says, why would Eric Bieniemy, does he no longer have a job in Chicago? Why would he want to leave? He's only the running back coach in Chicago. So he's getting a promotion. If, in fact,
same problem. Under Ben Johnson, he's not going to get any credit.
He's not calling plays there, and he's not even the OC in Chicago. He's a running back coach. He left Kansas City to become the OC with Ron Rivera in Washington.
They didn't like him there.
They didn't like him there. There was a lot of stories that came out about players not liking him. Now, they were also a losing franchise that clearly didn't want to even be held accountable. And then he went to UCLA. It was kind of a mess there. He parted ways, and then he became the running back coach for a Bears backfield that was very good this year. And now it looks like he's likely, all signs are pointing to him getting an opportunity to be an offensive coordinator again in Kansas City. And so you're not going to turn that opportunity down if you're Eric Bieniemy. Mm-hmm. And to this point, he has not been interviewed for any other OC job. Now, as you said, with all the head coaching opportunities, nobody's going to interview an OC until the head coach is hired. So,
and there's 9 openings right now, or 8 openings.
If we see more head coach hirings this week, maybe he gets an interview with one of those. But a lot of the new head coaches, it's not even like a publicly announced interview. It's like so-and-so is bringing him with them kind of thing. It's like, It's almost like
they've already talked to a guy and committed it.
So I don't know. We'll see. I do think new running back coach, new wide receiver coach, new OC, that is actually fairly significant change for an offense. Will it actually work? Well, that's where we're all going to find out in 2026.
It feels like a half step too low for me. But again, that's nitpicking, and I am still willing to give Andy Reid the benefit. Now, I'll say this one is on his shoulders. If the offense doesn't improve, he brought in his guy again. He did not bring in any outside voices. If the offense does not improve, Andy should wear it. I actually think that's right. I actually don't think EB should wear this one, Gold. I don't know about you. I don't actually think I don't think EB should wear the offense this year. This is Andy's call. He made a decision to take this risk. And so, I just think he did it to himself. Meanwhile, we know that they're going to need a talent infusion. I was pointed out over at Arrowhead Pride, and I think this is the correct way. 2 names that the Chiefs actively, reportedly tried to trade for in the last couple of seasons that we should just anticipate having a good chance of being free agent in Kansas City. One name you're familiar with, that is Breece Hall. So the more I think about running back, Golden, I'm like, are they really going to go get Breece Hall? And then you remember that they tried to trade for Breece Hall and they just didn't want to give up a 3rd-round pick. By the way, 3rd-round pick. Do you know how high that 3rd-round pick would have been now, Gold? You realize what a mistake it would have been to give up pick number... What's their pick in the 3rd round? Like 71? It's way too good of a pick. Whatever, I don't remember exactly where
Something
it
like that, yeah.
Way too good of a pick. And they can just have Breece Hall for free? If they were willing to give up a 4th round for Breece Hall, they're certainly willing to pay the man. The other one is Boye Mafe, a defensive end whose name came up, and they got to replace Charles Omenihu. Part of me is just automatically accepting that Boye Mafe and Breece Hall are Chiefs. Is that a bad way to look at it? Because they tried to trade for him. We know
it's a great start to the offseason. If that's what they did, it'd be a great start to the offseason. I think whether it's Breece Hall or not, I think there's multiple running back options in free agency. It's why I don't believe they should spend the 9th overall pick on Jeremiah Love. I think you can cost effectively improve the running back spot with multiple signings perhaps, or one signing and a mid-round draft pick and feel much better about the running back room going forward. And if you want to, for those of you that do like the EB part that he might come back, well, he had Kyle Monangai and DeAndre Swift. Now, Swift's been in the league for a while, but Monangai was a late-round pick, and
he got some juice out of him.
And they were able to get something out of it. Now, I tend to believe a lot of that is just Ben Johnson's that good of a play caller, and his run scheme mimics what he did in Detroit with Montgomery and Gibbs. So
looks almost identical.
So it's the same thing that we talk about, like who gets credit for what. I tend to give more of the running back credit in Chicago to Ben Johnson than I do Eric Bieniemy.
Because it's multiple stops with multiple backs,
and that's just me. But we'll see. I just think running back's a position that you can fix without spending a ton of money in free agency. And Breece Hall would be one of those options.
But he'll be the most expensive. Yep. Yeah, I was about to say he's going to be 10, 12 million. But in the scheme of, I guess this is the way, I think you can afford to spend money on a weapon, and here's why. As it sits right now, the Chiefs' starting wide receiver unit, as they go into this, will end up being, and I'm just going to presume Tyquan Thornton back because I don't think he'll cost any money, will be Xavier Worthy on a rookie contract, Rashee Rice on a rookie contract, Tyquan Thornton on what will be a $4 million deal, I don't know, shekels, pennies. Probably another wide receiver on a rookie contract. Jalen Royals on a rookie contract. If Travis Kelce's not here, no expensive tight end. Your tight end's making $6 or $7 million. Try to convince me I can't spend $10, $12 million on a running back. Not spending money at any other weapon position. All their money on the offense is on the offensive line. So you can spend a little bit of money on a weapon, I think, in this case. So Breece Hall is the most expensive guy. I'm for it. And if they're going to hand out, the single biggest contract they should hand out in free agency should be to a defensive lineman if they pay a high-priced defensive or a high-priced free agent. If it's not Travis Kelce, it sure as hell better be a defensive lineman, so why not Boye Mafe?
I also just think as we said, the kind of cyclical nature of the NFL. This goes back to, for those that want, like, the simple part of the offense saying, when was the offense at its best? EB was the OC, so must be a genius. Leaves out a ton of things about what occurred in the NFL then compared to now. Now, running back is more important than it was 3 or 4 years ago. And so to your point, spending, even if it is $11.5 million a year on a Breece Hall type of back, I'd be fine with Tyler Algier and somebody else as well. But
yeah, same.
Breece Hall, that's not a crazy amount of money to spend with the salary cap going up and with the importance on running back. We don't have to do the exercise again, but when the playoffs started, we went through the top 5 seeds in each side. And not every single team, I don't want to say it was impossible, but most of the top 5 seeds on both AFC and NFC side either had one stud or a great duo in the backfield that were explosive. The explosive nature of the position is what the Chiefs have lacked for years. I don't think that was scheme. I think it's personnel.
They had 3 runs of 20 or more yards. One was by Patrick Mahomes, so they had 2 out of their running backs. That is dead last in the league by any metric. They had 0 explosiveness. Breece Hall offers explosion. And look, I just would rather spend the money than spend the draft capital. When I get pick number 9 and I'm the Kansas City Chiefs and I got Patrick Mahomes, I'll throw cash at the running back problem. I don't want to throw pick number 9 at Jeremiah Love. Because if I got Jared Goff, I'll throw pick number 9 at Jahmyr Gibbs, right? Different mindset, depending on the quarterback you have. I want him to have talent, but I'm also not giving up. And I think it was Howie Roseman last week. And Howie Roseman, we all agree, is one of the better GMs in the NFL?
For sure.
Okay, so Howie Roseman last week was openly admitting that he's like, hey, I, every year, am trying to put together and field the single best roster I can, while considering that I am not trying to win just 1 year, I am trying to win many years. And you know that you got 10 years left of Mahomes. They sold out for a couple of years. They sold out for the three-peat. And that's part of what happened this year, and I think that got under-discussed. Part of why they were so bad this year is, Gold, they sold out for the three-peat. They did everything they could. They put every egg in every basket. They gave up draft capital. They sold their soul in an attempt at a three-peat. They got all the way to the final damn game, and it was almost worth going to the crossroads and selling their soul to the devil to get it. And they got burned this year because they gave up so much assets in order to chase it. They don't have to chase it now. You got the 2 in a row. You got the dynasty. You've accomplished it. Now you got to think long-term. 10-year plan. Long-term plan. Running backs are never part of anyone's long-term plan. Okay?
Yeah. I don't know if anybody... I don't know if anybody has a 10-year plan in the NFL. It's probably like a 5 year plan max. I don't think anybody's planning out 10 years from now, but 5 years for sure. Yeah. Well, we would have liked to. I don't think he's going to speak again until like the combine.
When's the last time he spoke? Before the
training
week
camp? 1.
Like, I'm dead serious. Is the last time Brett Veach spoke to the media training camp?
Well, he didn't speak at all during
least accessible
the
GM
season.
in the league.
I don't think he spoke at all during the season.
Brett, if you're listening, you're welcome to come on the show anytime this week.
I'm sure that'll do the trick, Cody.
913-586-7965.
I'm sure that'll do the trick.
I think people would like a little accessibility, a chance to hear from the general manager.
I think it was training camp last
I think the combine will be the next time we hear from him. And yeah, Drew, I think it was St. Joe.
And the text lines point out some of the stuff on the EB that we've talked about before. EB had prime Kelsey and Hill. Now, look, one of his offenses did not have guys like that. And I will say that running backs did succeed. A lot of random running backs succeeded under Eric Bieniemy.
I'm not saying Eric Bieniemy did nothing as the OC. That's not fair.
No, same as Nagy.
It's also not fair. Yeah, it's also not fair to act like everything last year was all Matt Nagy. It's also not fair to suggest that it's so simple that, well, look at the statistical element of the offense for the 3 years or whatever that he was OC compared to somebody else and act like it's that simple. It's just not. There's way more nuance needed in the conversation. That's been my whole thing with anybody that ever texts in on the offense was the best when Mahomes had EB. That is a fact. You were that is correct. But it lacks a lot of nuance in my opinion on what has happened in the league now compared to then, personnel the Chiefs had now compared to then.
Some of the bad draft
a lot
picks.
of the stuff. Like there's way more nuance to it.
If you go, and this, I don't know, this is so weird because one of those years with Eric Bieniemy as the offensive coordinator, Matt Nagy was the co-offensive coordinator. He was like the quarterback's coach / co-offensive coordinator. Like he was also in the role kind of. Before Matt Nagy became the full-time offensive coordinator by himself, he was sharing that role with Eric Bieniemy. that was one of the years the offense was great. Does he not? It's only Eric Bieniemy in that case. Look, a lot of this is, I think it's a personnel issue. I think some of it is that Andy Reid's offensive scheme did not keep up with the times. It's a little bit of everything. And like I said, I also think that the fact that they chased a three-peat burned them this year.
Yeah, it's time to pay the price a little bit.
And they got conservative. I also think their offense was a little bit worse on paper last year than it was in practice because they ran a conservative nature of an offense or 2 years ago, right? Not this previous regular season, but the one before. Because Gold, they were winning and ahead in all these games, and they slowed things down and just took some wins.
Yeah, someone says you cannot deny that for the past couple seasons they've gotten operationally worse on offense. Yeah, I don't think
other than penalties. I'm not going back into that.
But no, but I don't dispute that at all. But again, that does not mean just automatically that the offense under EB is what. Does that make sense? Like both, I know we're supposed to have like just it's cut and dry, but it's not. Yes, the offense has been worse post EB. Does it? What is the thing like in research or whatever? Like causation doesn't mean correlation. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
I just think there's more. It's never one thing, and I think that that's what we need to acknowledge. I feel like in the fan base right now, the toxicity around Nagy. And look, I don't want to be in
correlation doesn't mean causation. You got what I meant. Yeah.
But the toxicity around it is everything that's wrong with the offense is because Matt Nagy exists, and everything that was right with the offense was because Eric Bieniemy existed. But if that were true, then it'd be the same thing. Why wasn't their offense better in Washington? Why wasn't UCLA's offense better? Why was Chicago, it's
UCLA because they had a bad head coach.
No, but that's not, that's the thing. We're saying Eric Bieniemy overcomes all. Drew, I agree with you. I agree with you that was probably part of the nuanced issue that existed for Eric Bieniemy when he was there. They're one of the worst Power 5 programs Power 4 programs during that time. All we're saying, I think Golden Eye's stance on this has been, there is nuance. And that's also me telling you that I don't think if Eric Bieniemy ends up here, that it's the world's worst hire and it has no chance of succeeding.
I think they will get better in certain areas. Yeah, I think they will get better in certain areas.
Because they're Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid still. I believe that they will be better on offense next year. Maybe it's a mistake because I believe that year to year. And last year they were worse. And look, if they're terrible on offense, then we'll have a very real conversation about Andy Reid.
Yeah.
We know that. At the end of the season, if they're noticeably the same on offense, we will have a very real conversation about Andy Reid. And when Eric Bieniemy be a one and done offensive coordinator candidate, will Reid have a job? All the other stuff. And it's just a big year for everybody. Reid and Veach.
Jobs are on the line. Absolutely.
Reid and Veach in particular, it's a huge year for them.
Jobs are on the line. The only job that is safe heading, after depending on the result this year, will be Patrick Mahomes. After if this year were to be a failure coming up in 20, he'll be all right. Safe. He'll be all right. That's
Anybody else you think you want to declare anyone else safe?
That's it.
Creed Humphrey.
Fine.
He seems safe.
Sure, but he's the setter, so I mean.
What's considered a failure, though? Like if they make the wild card,
missing the playoffs.
Missing the playoffs. Missing the playoffs.
Losing the wild card, I would consider a failure. I think anything short of the divisional round.
I think it's missing the playoffs.
Because I think that's why you got to. I think
if you lose in the divisional round, you're any other NFL team.
Is it too early to look at Andy Reid now?
What do you mean?
For the way that the offense has looked?
We've been looking at him for a month about the way the offense
I think he's partially to blame already.
No, I understand. I'm just saying from the broad scope of what's going wrong with this team is.
I just think.
But that's what we've been doing for the last month and a half.
Drew, he's definitely part of the problem. But if you're meaning it from like a job security standpoint, to me, that is taking the microest possible view of Andy Reid. Like you're literally like not you, just it would be like shrinking everything he's done as just a head coach in Kansas City, or just shrink it down the last 5 years, or just the last 3 years, or just the last 2 years. It's just shrinking it down to the smallest possible sample of the job he's done in Kansas City, and I don't want to shrink it that far.
Oh no, I understand that, but I think if they miss the playoffs again, like obviously he'll be fired, but.
Well, I don't think obviously.
I think you'll have to explain.
I don't think obviously.
There should be no reason they don't get rid of him if they miss the playoffs again with Patrick Mahomes.
I think it's a conversation.
I don't know if I'd be I understand the whole legacy thing. He obviously is incredible.
No reason and obviously are two words I don't think could fit.
There is no reason they should not get rid of him if they miss the playoffs again. Because of the same reason we're talking about Josh Allen and the same reason we're talking about Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson of. You can't miss the playoffs, especially in back-to-back seasons with Patrick Mahomes. I think that's part of the the conversation where if you think they're going to miss it or if you think they're going to potentially get ousted early on, I don't know if you can just keep this rotation of, well, he's bringing back the same person again, and he's bringing his boy back sort of thing, and it's just this rotation.
We've been spending the first 2 hours. I'm not
of dying slowly, I guess.
The whole 2 hours to start the show today. We've all been in agreement. I would not bring back Eric Bieniemy. We're like, should we be talking about Andy Reid? We've been doing that for 2 months. Like this isn't like breaking news here. We've been having this conversation for a couple months about, hey, next year, if it doesn't go the way that this expectation is, which is making the playoffs, obviously, and all that, then there will be a real conversation about his future with the organization. What I will not do is, here on January of 2026, definitively say, no, without knowing any other context to anything, has to be fired next year. Like, I'm not going to do that. I think that that's where we differ. That'd be the only part.
I also just think it's a little unfair, Drew, to say, he goes out in the divisional round. That's every other NFL team ever. He's allowed one early playoff exit in a rebound year. I don't know that that's like that to me is not like an epic failure of a season.
Josh Allen's career,
but they haven't wasted Mahomes. That's where you and I fight all the time.
They are right now.
They're not. They have 3 Super Bowls. No, because one season went bad, they wasted a year.
You guys,
so they can't have 2 years and then win a Super Bowl. They're just wasting his career.
The playoffs. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe both of you said they wasted a year of Patrick Mahomes' career.
But you're making it sound like he should be fired because they decade and won 2 more with Bill. 2 years? 2 years is not long enough to be like they're wasting the man's career.
I think there needs to be some energy kept to where as great as the Bills have been, I understand that the Chiefs have gone and won the thing, but if you're going and if we're going to talk about wasting quarterbacks' careers and their prime years, I think you have to be honest. And although the history has been good, you can also turn around and say they've wasted a year of Mahomes' prime. And the way that they're doing it and running things right now by bringing EB back potentially it doesn't make any. I know, I understand that, but how can you not look at Andy Reid ultimately as being the one that's making the decision as opposed to the person he's hiring? Like, Andy Reid is the one who's making this decision. We are in agreement there. Andy Reid needs to be under the microscope now.
More than
at the end of the year.
I don't know. I guess I don't know what you want me to say. Like, we've been doing this for 2 months. Like, do you want me to? We're actually not that far apart in our thought process here at all. I think we're actually on the same page. Where I think there's the disconnect and the disagreement, I guess, is
I just think you want me, it's already going to fail.
You want me to, like, today say that, like, it's an automatic firing next year. And I guess that's, and you're willing to say that, that's fine, that's your opinion. I'm not willing, without seeing the rest of the offseason and seeing anything play out, to just definitively, it's an automatic, by the way, he would not get fired, he would retire, to just automatically to get to that. If they miss the playoffs next year, it will absolutely be a conversation whether or not he should be coaching. Absolutely. We've said that for a month, Drew. So I guess I don't know what, like, you're acting like we're on a completely different page here.
It's because I think you guys are willing to wait for another year of Andy Reid,
so can we clear it up? His prime. So can we clear it up then? That's the disconnect. You want him fired now then?
Well, I've already said, I mean, you might as well.
Well, at least firing's realistic. There's no scenario where he's ever getting traded. Firing's more realistic than traded.
Yeah, because
like, if your take was he should be fired, actually,
my take was he should be traded because I would think the team would want to try to get something as opposed to just letting him walk.
Look, this is just like a case of team to team. Do you think Zach Taylor should be fired?
Yes.
Okay.
Zach Taylor shouldn't be the head coach there, but I told you it would happen because that's what they do. I wasn't wrong. I told you week 4 he would not be fired. Is it the right decision? No, but I told you it wasn't going to happen.
No, he definitely.
And it hasn't happened yet.
Longest tenured coach in the
I'm just saying, why if it happens again?
Yes,
like, at the end of this year, but I know, but at the end of next year, we will look back and say, well, maybe they should have just gotten rid of him a year before.
I will not,
because it's
actually.
Another year of wasted Mahomes' prime where I think you can skip the line, if you will. At least that was the take that I had last week before some of these guys got hired. Coaching cycle is a little bit different now. And who knows what it'll be like next year.
My only issue with we're way late for a break. Yeah. My only issue with the whole trade thing is it was unrealistic and there wasn't like much of a plan post you deciding to trade him. Again, coaches in the league have never been traded unless the coach wants to be traded. But up next, we will get to what's trending, and then let's talk about a coach that did get fired, Sean McDermott out as the Bills head coach, what it means for Josh Allen, who damaged his legacy over the weekend.
You're listening to Cody and Gold.
We're going to try to tickle your tonsils.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
When the cold sets in across KC, AB May is the trusted name for keeping your home warm, safe, and secure. From furnace repairs to system replacements, we deliver reliable solutions and unmatched care and professionalism. Whether it's a sudden breakdown or routine maintenance, AB May is here to help. Trusted by generations of Kansas City homeowners, we're committed to doing things the right way every time. Call AB May at 913-732-9993 or visit us at abmay.com.
Call your serviceman from AB May.
Paramount Plus is the new home of UFC, and we're coming out swinging with UFC 324.
Oh, what a shot!
And 325 on back-to-back weekends. The new era is here.
It's time!
Every fight.
Bam! Let's go!
One subscription.
Oh my goodness!
Pay-per-view just got knocked out.
Let's go!
Back-to-back blockbuster UFC events this month only on Paramount Plus.
You've got a big day, so you use Unstoppable scent boosters to give your laundry non-stop freshness. So no matter how long the day goes, you
can't stop this power, this walk, this pose, this strut, this look, this talk.
Your clothes will be so fresh you can confidently strut into that end of the day meeting like a
boss, 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 bosses. Let's talk business in my office.
Add new Unstoppables beads to your wash for 24-hour non-stop freshness so you can smell unstoppable.
FanDuel's giving all customers a profit boost for the college football championship tonight. It's your last boost of the college football season. Pick the side you believe in or build a parlay that fits the moment. Then apply your profit boost and go after a boosted payout with absolutely everything on the line. You guys know I'm rolling with the favorite. I like the Hoosiers minus 8.5 tonight. They have the best coach and the best quarterback. FanDuel is the best place to get into the championship action. And when you win, you'll get paid instantly. It's your last boost of the college football season. Pick the side you believe in or build a parlay that fits the moment. Then apply your profit boost and go after a boosted payout with absolutely everything on the line. So visit FanDuel.com/local to get your college football profit boosts today. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Men, it's the new year, and for many of us, it's a time of deciding to make positive changes in our lives. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're suffering with erectile dysfunction and are tired of the frustration and embarrassment ED causes, you should call Heartland Men's Health today, because there probably isn't a better resolution you can make than to be done with ED. You see, ED doesn't just affect you, it can also affect your partner, even if they don't talk about it. But here's some great news. If you're like most guys, the treatments at Heartland Men's Health will give you back your sex life, because our protocols have success rates that work in well over 90% of cases. Seriously, you might even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So, make an appointment and get ED out of your life. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. That's heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon.
Hello?
You won't believe where I am.
Are you running?
Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing.
Mom, how do you feel?
I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture, and then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with autopay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Did you hear? Allstate car insurance now costs even less. So when you bundle with home, you can save even more. Check Allstate first to bundle and save with a new lower auto rate. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings may vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at TheFan965 for behind-the-scenes videos like MVP Monday, Chiefs Take Tuesday, and Best Bets. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ, FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey Sports Station. What's trending?
God dang!
Brought to you by Telly Tire and Auto Centers. Winning starts with a great drive. Since 1942, Telly's certified techs have delivered complete car care with top brand tires and expert auto service. Keep your drive going. Take it to Telly. Visit TellyTire.com today.
Number one on what's trending, the Buffalo Bills have fired their longtime head coach, Sean McDermott. That is certainly the news nationally today. They lost, as we all know, Saturday in overtime to the Broncos, 33-30. This will not be a 10-year run for Sean McDermott. We'll see if he ends up elsewhere. Interesting, though, Brandon Beane, their GM, not only is he staying on, he got promoted. So it feels like, and we'll hopefully have Mike Shope on from our sister station, WGR 550, tomorrow. Reach out to him and find out more on this. It feels like there was clear power struggle in ownership. We're going to find out if it was the right or wrong decision as time goes on. They chose the GM. They think it's the coach. And we're going to talk more in depth about this because I actually think this past game was the least game that actually was Sean McDermott's fault of all the early exits they've had.
Yeah, this one was way more on Josh Allen. Next up on What's Trending, Zach Charbonnet has suffered a season-ending knee injury ahead of their NFC title game matchup with the Rams. Tough blow, obviously, for the Seahawks, although Kenneth Walker has been good this season and good in this playoff run. But will not have the two-headed monster anymore. Zach Charbonnet done for the year, that according to multiple reports over on the NFL side.
Local college basketball, KU dominated Baylor on Friday. They're at Colorado tomorrow, a 10 o'clock tip-off. Central time, 10 o'clock.
Against Colorado? I'm not watching that.
That's
not even
crazy.
watching a second of that.
K-State had a close one in Stillwater. They came up short. They're still winless in the Big 12. Missouri lost to LSU 78-70. They take on number 21 Georgia tomorrow night.
Next up on What's Trending, reports say the Big Ten and SEC are still deadlocked on how to expand the college football playoff. We'll talk more about it tomorrow, but just know that there's still a lot of infighting. It is funny to me. These other conferences have to just sit back and be like, I guess good luck making the decision, guys. Like, we don't mention the Big 12 or the ACC, these other teams who would technically be a part of it. We all know where the power goes, the Big Ten and the SEC. Big Ten still wants more teams. SEC only wants more teams if it means they get guaranteed spots.
And, of course, thinking of college football tonight, we get the national title game down in Miami. Coral Gables, Florida, I guess, to be exact. But number 10 seed Miami, 7.5. The line has gone down. It was 8.5, now 7.5 point underdogs against Indiana. So that's a full point.
Give me a half point, now we're talking.
Yeah, full. Yeah, well, now you could buy it down to 7 if you want. But that's a whole point that it shifted in the last day or so after being at 8.5 for much of the week. Kickoff is set for 6:30, but as we all know, like 6:50 or so. Probably.
I'm going to set the over-under at 7:07. What do you want?
I'll take the under on that.
Under?
I'll take the under on that. Yeah, I'll take the under there.
7:07 kickoff. A lot of pomp and circumstance for national championship.
Central Time, it'll be under that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
the kick's going to be at 6:50.
Even if the anthem runs late, it's no later than 6:55.
All right. Lastly, on What's Trending, Matt Nagy does have a second interview with the Titans this week. He is one of the front runners, apparently, for the job. Some of the other two of the other four candidates, or the four total candidates, have already reportedly pretty much going to get jobs somewhere else. So it doesn't look like Titans are going to be able to hold it. Although now Sean McDermott's in the mix, so maybe they're going to want to enter that kind of.
I mean, if you're the Titans, I
choose McDermott over Nagy.
I think they will hire Matt Nagy, but you're not doing your job if you don't at least try to interview Sean McDermott before you make your head coaching hire, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're the Titans,
I'd at least do my due diligence.
You at least got to talk to the guy.
Yeah, I agree.
And find out his interest.
Yeah, I agree. It's a quick conversation. Be like, hey, you interested to come here? Yes or no?
Yeah. That is what's trending. Here on Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you on a Monday. You guys can hit us up on the J Southland Tow Service text line, 913-586-7965. Of course, you can watch the show. If you've never done that before, you can check it out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, and check out the show. Cody's rocking his Super Bowl champions hoodie over there. What year was that? Is that L-I-V or L-I-V? There's so many, it's hard to figure it out.
L-I-V, I believe. Okay. Although I don't know, there's this trophy.
The trophy is the trophy acting as the eye in that one. I can't remember. They did that for 1 year.
It's so hard to keep track of all the Super Bowls here. I just don't know which one.
So many Super Bowl appearances and wins.
It's from one of them. How about that?
Someone that would have saved his job if he would have got to the Super Bowl would be Sean McDermott. Let's start there. Sean McDermott fired by the Buffalo Bills. And I don't want to say it's shocking because heading into the postseason, I think most people had understood that if they had an early exit, specifically losing to Jacksonville, that he might be out. Well, they beat Jacksonville and they lose in overtime to Denver, and that was enough. That was enough for the Buffalo Bills. And so Sean McDermott is out, and I think very clearly there were multiple playoff appearances where I think Sean McDermott was to blame. Oddly enough, this
or at least part of the reason.
Oddly enough, this was not that year. Now, I understand the firing is a culmination. It was not just because of the game against the Broncos. They clearly were already having the conversations, and he has been unable to come up with a formula to get Josh Allen over the hump. And we'll get to Josh Allen for people wondering, hey, why aren't you blaming Josh Allen?
What do you mean, his 4 turnovers?
We will get to Josh Allen in a second. But I actually thought this game against Denver was more on Allen than any of the others, and less on Sean McDermott and coaching mistakes. Doesn't mean he was perfect in the game by any means, but this was not the game I would use as like the bulletin board material of why Sean McDermott's not the head coach. I actually think the general manager keeping his job is crazy and getting promoted. That roster is the worst roster they've had in the McDermott-Allen run that they've been on. The wide receiver talent's been a disaster outside of Khalil Shakir. That's about it. They did draft James Cook. He gets credit for that. Brandon Beane does. But the rest of the roster has been a mess for them. And so I'm surprised. On one hand, I think if you're a Chiefs fan, it's actually bad Sean McDermott got fired. The other hand, it's probably good that Brandon Beane still has a job as their GM.
Well, you know what keeps your job? Being the GM who drafted Josh Allen. That'll keep you employed. I mean, that's the truth. That might just be the difference. That and he talks to the general manager more than the head coach does, or talks to the owner more than the head coach does. And so if you're the general manager, you got a better relationship. Easy to blame the subordinates, right? You know this works. It always rolls downhill, right, Gold? So if you're the person screwing up, just as long as you got someone to blame below you, you can keep your job. And I think typically when these GMs, and lately this has been happening more, keep their job, it is because they have the better relationship with ownership, and they still have someone to bleed this thing down to. The next head coach, he won't be able to do that to, even though, I don't know, Chris Ballard hired like 3 different head coaches, so who the hell knows? Depends on your organization, depends on your relationship and those things. On the Josh Allen end, I have decided that this is why the Bills, even though they have what seems like a likable personality in Josh Allen.
Oh, totally.
And have never won anything. So it's easy, should want to root for the underdog. They are, as a fan base and as a team, including their previous head coach, Sean McDermott, the whiniest bunch of babies.
It's hard for me to understand why it was ruled the way it was ruled. And if it is ruled that way, then why wasn't it slowed down just to make sure that we have this right? That would have made a lot of sense to me, to make sure that we have this thing right, because that's a pivotal play in the game. We have the ball at the 20, maybe kicking a game-winning field goal right there. So I'll just leave it at that.
Nothing has ever been their fault. Not a single thing has ever been the Bills' fault. Oh, we didn't get to have the ball in overtime. Change the rules. We don't like the tush-push. There was a penalty. It never went. Nothing's ever been their fault. In 7 damn years with Josh Allen, they have blamed every single thing. The moon phase has been wrong. They blame everybody but themselves. They never take any accountability. Maybe that's the most damning thing for Sean McDermott. They never accept. Fans, too. They gotta get all upset about this simultaneous catch call that didn't go their way. And it's always some other thing. What do you think, the 5 turnovers? You think maybe one of those taken back instead of one call where a ref called a pass interference or one call where a ref called an interception instead of a catch? What about maybe the 4 picks your quarterback threw? The ball James Cook coughed up. You think any of those have anything to do with it? The actual plays from the players? It's crazy. They've never taken any accountability.
It does feel
crazy.
Go back to the overtime rule stuff a couple years back. as well. It does feel that way. And we, if you want in the 1 o'clock hour, we can get into the catch because it was a weird play. And I think
I'll talk about that in 1 o'clock. Sure.
I would agree with you that anytime they get eliminated, there is some controversy around it, and it usually is everybody else's fault. Now, Josh Allen picked a terrible postseason to have his worst postseason game of his career. It was all open. We all know that. No Burrow, no Mahomes, no Lamar. And
he
yes,
was awful.
You did not have your best team, but this was your opportunity to get there. And you didn't. And this is the one time where you can put all of it, and I shouldn't say all, a lot of it on Josh Allen because of the turnovers that you mentioned. I'm glad you brought up the James Cook fumble because that has gotten lost in this whole Josh Allen stuff. They were going to either go up 10-3 on Denver or 14-3 before the James Cook fumble. That changed the entire game. But they do seem to blame everybody else, and they're even using the Brandon Cooks non-catch interception and screenshotting Chiefs plays from a year ago to use in the discussion. So they can't get away from the Chiefs even when that happens. And you just don't know when you get back. I mean, I know we're in Kansas City and we've been spoiled, and so we assume that Patrick Mahomes is going to get back to a Super Bowl, but there's no guarantee that they do. At least you have 3 rings. If you're Buffalo, the reason why it's so devastating, and I would argue this loss is even worse, possibly than the 13-second game, is because the path was so wide open, apparently. Now knowing that, what we've seen from the Patriots,
you've been favored probably to beat either of those teams. Or it'd have been close. Maybe it'd have been
Buffalo would have gone to New England again. I don't know, but it is an opportunity that you missed on, and you got to capitalize. If you're Lamar, when you get to an AFC title game, you don't know how many more you get to. You got to capitalize. If you're Burrow, you get to that one Super Bowl, you don't know if you'll ever get back. This applies to everybody. Sam Darnold on the Seahawks, you got a great team right now. Just because you're great this year does not mean you're great next year. If you're Sam Darnold, this might be your only shot to get a ring. So
take advantage of it.
You got to take advantage. And Josh Allen, this might have been your best shot at it.
Maybe it's because they've historically been a loser franchise. It's loser mentality to blame everybody else. All they ever want is the rules changed for them. Again, like somebody pointed out, and I think it's correct, they advocated for the elimination of the tush push. They've run it 5 times in this playoffs alone. So you don't actually mean it. You're just saying, we just want things our way. Can you just design it so it's for us? It's got such spoiled, rich kid, only child energy. I don't know how to describe it other than everything's not our way and the league's not fair because everything didn't go the way it was supposed to go for us. You're take some accountability. And that game in particular, Josh Allen, I think in a lot of ways, and he can still.
This was him after the game.
This is the great thing, and we'll play in just a second. This is the great thing about legacy is that you can still change it after this fact. Up to this point, he wrecked his legacy with that game. He had a wide open opportunity and he gifted the ball away multiple times. I think he knew it a little bit because he was very emotional after the game.
Let my teammates down tonight. Just missed opportunities throughout the game. It's been a long season. I hate how it ended, and that's it's going to stick with me for a long time. Can't win with 5 turnovers. I fumbled twice, threw 2 picks. When you shoot yourself in the foot like that, you don't deserve to win football games.
What was the stat they put up during the broadcast, guys? 1 in 85 teams were when giving up on the road,
that
3 or more turnovers.
The game after that too, I think.
Yeah, and look, I still think Josh Allen is the second best quarterback in football. That doesn't change it all for me. But man, as far as the bigger picture conversation and the opportunity that he had, that part he absolutely blew.
I just there's part of me, what you just mentioned about Darnold and others, is that there's a better than not opportunity that all of the Bills' best chances to win the Super Bowl are already gone. This year was a great opportunity. No Burrow, no Mahomes, no Jackson. You just got to go through Bo Nix and C.J. Stroud and a second-year quarterback and Drake May to get there.
I don't know if I can say
his roster.
That.
I understand his roster, but they've also had in 3 different playoff years a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense going into it. The best chances they had as a franchise might already very well be gone. Matter of fact, if you made me guess, they are. Not saying they can't win a Super Bowl. Sometimes teams take advantage, even though it's not their best team, and they find a way to get there. But the best chances, the best teams he had, the best paths, I think those are probably gone. Because the best path was this year. It's never going to get any easier than it did this year.
So I'll push back a little bit. I agree with you that, again, there's no guarantees on where you're going to be at. We don't know who their next head coach is going to be. That can change this entire trajectory for them. It gets tougher every year. You're older. You're less athletic. That is all true. The only reason why I don't know if yes, there was no Mahomes, there was no Lamar and all that. They also were the 7 seed, if I'm not mistaken, or 6 seed, and going on the road every year with a roster that we all agree was not the best. So
no, they had problems.
So this year, best is in avoid Mahomes, yes. Team-wise, this was far from their best team.
It's just crazy, though. The
Chiefs picked a bad year to be bad because, boy, oh, boy.
Oh, I know. It would have been a free walk almost based on the other team's rosters. But, of course, their roster was bad, too. And so it just kind of goes back into this other thing. And some of it's fan base. Some of it's not just the team. The fan base doesn't want to accept that it can't just be that their team wasn't good enough that day. That everything is against him. Oh, the league's up against him. All these calls.
I mean, Josh Allen wasn't making excuses. I mean, he
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he owned it.
He did. And I would say the organization took some ownership over it for the first time by canning McDermott. I assume you saw the same stat I did. There are 4 franchises in NFL history to win a playoff game in 6 consecutive playoffs. 4. The previous 3 all won 3 Super Bowls each. They have 0 Super Bowl appearances. So, yeah, someone had to go. Like, the refs aren't out to get you.
Yeah, I just would have. If you're going to fire McDermott, I just would have got rid of the GM as well. That's what
me too.
I don't know why they didn't just clean it all up. But
yeah, but you know what this is. They just don't. Teams don't like making those kind of wholesale changes sometimes, and they've just got good relationships and all this other stuff.
Then yesterday afternoon, you have C.J. Stroud and the Texans going on the road to New England.
Talking about bad.
And their defense played great. Still gave them a chance to win. C.J. Stroud, back-to-back playoff games, was horrific, could not take care of the football. And it was the big concern on Friday's show. We were discussing he seems to get flustered so easily. He cannot rein it back in when something goes wrong. And he does not look anything like how he looked his rookie season. I know we've had quarterbacks that have fooled us before. They have a really strong season, and you're like, oh, remember when he had that one great year?
Jaden Daniels, I'd still be worried.
I don't remember, though, the last quarterback that had – because he was historically great his rookie year.
Up until Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, he was historically great.
It was the single best rookie year a quarterback had really ever had.
And then now,
statistically,
he's a quarterback that should have been benched by Davis Mills in that game. Should have been. Like they would have had a better chance to win in the second half with him as their quarterback instead of C.J. Stroud. And it causes some big problems for you moving forward if you're the Texans. You're trying to figure out what on earth you have at quarterback when he's due for an extension here. And I don't know how you can feel confident. I would not.
I wouldn't either, but they will, right? Is that what we
probably
do? We agree to the normal terms, which is I wouldn't pay this quarterback, but they will pay this quarterback. He's a former number 1 overall pick.
I understand.
Right? Or number
top
2.
Top
he was number 2. Bryce Young was number 1. By the way, go back on that draft. Which of those 2 guys did you take first overall? If you had to redo that one and redo the Caleb Williams, Drake May. Drake May goes 1, right?
Yeah, Drake May definitely goes 1. Between Bryce Young and Stroud, I think I still take Stroud because I still see him at a higher level than ever. But I'm worried that he's lost it at the same time. He's got a club option. Or excuse me, he's got
5th-year option, yeah.
A 5th-year option. So they don't have to make a decision. Usually you would. They technically could play this out for 2 more years and make him prove it over the next 2 years, which is what I would do.
I probably, unless he's threatening a holdout or something.
I don't think he's in a position
you can only hold out because you need the reps too bad. You need the practice too bad. Because rookie contract gold, as you know, is the only time you can hold out and not suffer serious financial repercussions. So, if you're going to hold out, you actually should do it as a rookie. That usually only works for running backs when it's your only chance to get paid. Stroud was awful. He makes Josh Allen look like he was having a Super Bowl MVP performance. That's how bad C.J. Stroud was.
What happened?
I said it earlier, but I think this is the best way. I think he has the yips. I think he lost it. And this happens. This doesn't happen as much in football, and I think that's what's surprising. We see baseball players who are pressing and try too hard, and I'd mentioned Knobloch earlier, these other guys who can't throw it to second base all of a sudden. And it just gets him, like Rick Ankiel, who just forgot how to pitch one day and could never throw a strike ever again for the rest of his life. Had to go play outfield, just lost it. If that's what I genuinely think has happened to C.J. Stroud, he can't throw the football anymore. He's 2 in his head, and he forgot how to play the game. And so unless they can get that out of between his 2 ears and have a game go bad where it doesn't immediately creep back up, I'd be terrified.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the yips or not, but I mean, that you said it right there. I think a lot of it is on the mental side of things. I've never talked to the guy in my life, so it's like I don't know if I feel great about just trying to interpret that.
Yeah.
But by watching, it does seem, this goes back to last week when we were talking about it. Like, he feels like somebody that just is not able to bounce back when something goes wrong. Or he sees Tank Dell have a terrible knee injury, and he's, look, it's fine to care about fine to care. You should care about your teammate. But he was, like, bawling after the injury, and he lost it the rest of the game against the Chiefs. He was not the same player.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff, as a starting quarterback in the NFL, that
can't have it happen.
That can't happen. And it can't happen to the guy I'm going to pay $200 million to either.
No. I mean, Stroud, look, as it sits right now.
He was so flustered. And the Patriots defense gets a lot of credit for that. No doubt. We'll talk plenty Patriots, Broncos later on in the week.
But he was making throws that the defense had nothing to do with. He was just making insanely dangerous plays that had no business being on a field. Yeah. So some of it is just that. Like, we don't need to overcomplicate it. Sometimes he just lost it. I wouldn't pay him unless he shows something significant in the next 2 years. And I also would have started Davis Mills in the second half of that game and think they would have won the game if they did.
All right, up next, let's talk about Bo Nix, though, a little bit and what the Broncos are dealing with as the Patriots come to town and how the Rams found a way to win in overtime against Caleb Williams and the Bears.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Guys, let's get real about your health. Look, in today's AI world, hard to know what you can trust with your eyes sometimes. What you can trust is Synergen X and Low T Center and what they can do to help change your life. If you've been suffering from the symptoms of low testosterone, constant tiredness, lack of focus, maybe trouble in the bedroom, any of these things, just feeling off, all of those things can be signs of low testosterone. And Synergen X and Low T Center can help you meet with a real provider, not a chat bot on a website, and get real medication, never compounded testosterone or hormones, and get real pricing, not a surprise bill when you get it from a website. You get real results because Synergen X and Low T Center are the experts in this area and are offering superior medication, service, and support, and they're just waiting to help you. So you can walk in, you can make an appointment, all of those options available, and find out for yourself by booking an appointment with a free t-test at getmyhealthfix.com. That's right, a free t-test at getmyhealthfix.com.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Up to 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified vehicles in Kansas City, starting as low as 1.9% for 72 months.
0% event and a lifetime warranty. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Based on January 2025 through June 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
Escape to your new coastal seafood paradise. Introducing Aqua Pennies, where the freshest seafood, a full-service raw bar, prime steaks and chops, exquisite handcrafted cocktails, and a one-of-a-kind atmosphere come together in perfect harmony. Aqua Pennies is now open in Park Place, Leawood. Don't miss out. Experience something truly different. Tantalize your taste buds and elevate your evening out. To learn more, go to aquapennies.com.
Coast into Aqua Pennies, now open for lunch.
NFL playoffs, let's go. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, makes every moment feel bigger. You know, in the postseason, the game shifts fast, and with DraftKings live betting options, you can stay right in the moment, make every moment matter this postseason with DraftKings. You know, this weekend we got the conference title games, of course, Patriots, Broncos, Rams, Seahawks. I'm looking at that Seattle Rams game and saying, hey, I know it's minus 155, but the Seahawks looked so good against the Niners. It feels like they can do it again. They're hosting the Rams, an opponent they're familiar with. I think they get the win. Minus 155 on DraftKings. Plus, DraftKings has your back with early exit protection. If the player in your eligible NFL prop bet goes down at any point in the first half, you still get paid in cash. New customers, here's your shot. Bet just $5, and if that bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code 965. That's code 965 to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Additional terms at dkng.com/audio. Limited time offer.
Jewelry Graham. Hi, I'm Brian, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. We have just the right gift for your sweetheart this Valentine's Day. Any style, any budget. Like heart-shaped necklaces, birthstones, or hand-matched diamond studs. Getting engaged? Create a dream ring and choose from natural and lab-grown diamonds in all shapes and sizes. Come see us in store or at shaneco.com because a friend wants you to win Valentine's Day. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Steve here with Connolly Plumbing Solutions, your neighborhood plumber. For January, after the holidays, we are offering to auger your main line or branch line for only $99 per hour. That's $100 off this month only. This also includes a camera inspection with mainline work. Don't start 2026 with things backing up. So call Connolly Plumbing Solutions at 913-768-7676 or visit ConnollyPlumbingSolutions.com to schedule.
Football playoffs are here, and Underdog is the best place to get in on the gridiron action because you can make entries and win money right now in Missouri. It is incredibly easy to get started over on Underdog. Just choose one of your favorite players and choose if they'll go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, rushing yards, receptions, and more. Get them right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. So what are you waiting for? Download the app today and use promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P. The best place to get in on the gridiron action right now in Missouri. Underdog. Make plays, win money. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncbgambling.org.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. Visit AnthonyPHC.com today.
Plumbing problem? Anthony makes repairs simple and stress-free. Right now, save $75 on any plumbing repair. Schedule today at AnthonyPHCE.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
We'll get to the random question of the day here in about 8 minutes or so. It's Cody and Gold on a Monday in KC.
I got to say, I completely forgot until we were talking the break. We were talking about Sean McDermott getting fired.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten all about that story about how he used the terrorists on 9/11 as an example of people working together to accomplish a goal.
Yeah.
And I mean, borderline when that came out, we all thought that was The Onion, right?
Yeah.
That he couldn't have actually... that story. That should have been the first sign it wasn't going to work out.
That story came out in 2023, and I can't remember who reported on it. And then it was it was in a team meeting, obviously, in 2021. So it was an older team meeting. And then, yeah, he had to like send out a statement. That whole thing was a mess. I do remember that. I think we had Mike Shope on around that time as well, how he used
credited the 9/11 hijackers for their coordination during a team meeting.
Yeah, not necessarily wise there.
Probably not his finest moment.
Nope.
Probably wish he'd walk that one back. What do you wish you could walk back the most that you said on air? Probably not that one.
Well, yeah,
I think mine's probably that Mondesi could win the MVP.
Oh, well, that's just a bad take. I thought, like, Sean McDermott, that's not a bad take. That's just a terrible philosophy.
Yeah, that's true.
You're just like, bad take, sure,
Maybe
plenty
the
of
gum
them.
bucket, if I could walk that back.
Yeah, Tennessee cities. That whole thing. Yeah. Tennessee cities.
There's a few over the years.
But those are just either bad takes or flubs. He had a meeting and used it as an example.
Down.
Yeah, it's a little bit different.
I think that's still what the craziest thing to me is, Gold, is that he sat down and he was like, I'm going to motivate the team today. How am I going to motivate the team today? And he got in a little yellow legal pad and he wrote down some possible moments of coordination. And that's the one he came up with.
Yeah, not his finest moment.
No. Crazy. We'll get to the random question, like you said, in just a few minutes. It's food related today. Food related.
Food.
Sometimes get you in trouble because we know that you're a bit of a picky eater.
The text line goes after me when that happens, for sure.
We'll see.
For sure. The rest of this past weekend, though, divisional round week in the NFL, we talked a ton about C.J. Stroud and the Buffalo Bills, but let's focus over on Denver for a bit. You go from absolute high of getting to an AFC title game, and literally, I don't know what, 15 minutes later, they knew quicker, but the public finds out 15 minutes after the fact that Bo Nix done for the year.
If you're a member of that team.
Yeah, needs surgery for ankle injury, right?
Yeah.
Broken ankle or fracture in his ankle. Surgery tomorrow in Birmingham, and Jared Stidham's the guy now. Just crazy. I can't, the roller coaster of that is insane. We've all had him as a sports fan, but that one's up there as an all-time, ultimate high to ultimate low.
I mean, if they didn't have success as a franchise in their history, then you would just think they're cursed. Like, the Broncos have Super Bowls. They've won important things before, so you don't have to put that kind of curse on them. But if this were the Jets, and the Jets finally got to the AFC Championship game, just won the game, and then you found out 30 seconds later that their starting quarterback had fractured their ankle and then was done for the season, you'd be like, you're cursed. It ain't ever going to happen for you. Because that was one of the more, I genuinely thought, there's no way. And it was like, from Schefter, I'm like, did he get hacked? And is making this up? I watched him do the post-game interview standing on the field with the reporter. And then 5 minutes later, Sean McDermott saying, oh, by the way, Bo Nix broke his ankle. He's done for the season. Jared Stidham will start next week.
Adrenaline has to be the answer. I mean, here's what Sean Payton had to say, and they basically said it was one of the final plays. It was the one where he rolled out to the left, or there was the design run, and he ran to the left. And then if you go back and watch it, he got up and he kind of stopped for a half second. He probably felt something, but it was just adrenaline, I would imagine.
Not good news. On the second to last play in overtime, Bo fractured a bone in his right ankle. He's scheduled to have surgery Tuesday of this week, which will put him out for the rest of the season.
I give the Broncos only a bit of credit because normally teams would have dragged that on. We wouldn't have found out on, I can tell you
Tuesday.
this, we wouldn't have found out until Monday or Tuesday. They already had surgery scheduled and everything, and they just gave everybody the information right. I mean, that's brutal. I feel bad for Bo Nix. I don't feel bad for the Broncos as an organization. I hate them, as you know. But the Bo
you should feel bad for Bo Nix.
But Bo Nix, it's hard not to feel bad for him.
Karma for Sean Payton being a jerk all week, I guess.
But man, that is crazy. To see it play out. And here's the
it's not a non-zero chance Stidham wins the game.
No.
Broncos defense is going to have to make it 17-14 or something.
Yeah, I think they have a 15-20% chance.
I know that we're in sports radio, so we're going to watch it. So can we just take ourselves out of this for a minute and just pretend like you're a regular person? If you're a regular person, tell me why you would ever turn on a Jared Stidham, Sam Darnold Super Bowl. To what end? To what end?
I hope that's not it. I hope that's not it.
Just go to the walk at the park. Stidham Darnold?
I hope not.
Honestly, for the comedy of the insanity, we talk about this all the time with Legacy and Mahomes and all this stuff not being in the playoffs. In a weird way, the least threatening thing to ever happen for Patrick Mahomes and their run ever is Stidham and Darnold. And this is weird because we talked to his other quarterbacks. Bo Nix, if they won the Super Bowl, Is he a Super Bowl winning quarterback?
No.
What's the cutoff date?
No.
God, so brutal. What's the cutoff date for you, Drew? If the Broncos win the Super Bowl, is Bo Nix a Super Bowl champion?
Yeah, but he's not the one that played in the game. So
yeah, he gets a ring, but like
no, he gets we understand he physically gets the ring, but do you count it as Patrick Mahomes has 3 rings, Bo Nix has 1? Is what I'm asking.
No.
Like Bo Nix has 1, Josh Allen has 0.
No, I don't think so.
In a world in which I want Sam Darnold to get a ring before all the other Super Bowls.
I think truthfully, I think you probably have to at least have a snap in the Super Bowl for it to count. But more, if we're even being nice, I think you have to at least have a snap in the game before the Super Bowl, and he's not going to have that.
Yeah, that's tough. I didn't know how we. I wouldn't. I think Broncos fans would because this is how a fan base would. I think the fan base would be like, he has 1 ring.
Sure.
Mahomes has 3.
Sure.
But I think from an outsider's perspective, I feel like giving that ring would be kind of a gift. I don't think they're winning the Super Bowl anyway, and this conversation won't be real. But if they win the game against the Patriots, we can revisit it.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of funny that after all this, there's a chance that Sam Darnold or Jarrett Stidham, I guess Drake May could be part of this too, but Jarrett Stidham or Sam Darnold could cut the line of Lamar and Allen and Burrow. Like, what?
It honestly doesn't even make sense. The Jarrett Stidham, Super Bowl winning quarterback, that's even more ridiculous than Foles, who was taking shots, by the way, at the Patriots.
Was he?
So he sent out a tweet. He said, hey, if it makes you feel any better, I've heard that the Patriots do bad against backup quarterbacks in championship scenarios.
That's fine.
So he went
Good
out
for
there
him.
and fired one off. Well, look, you get a flex if you're the
someone
winner
says
of the scenario.
to your scenario, they go, do you count Carson Wentz as a Super Bowl winning
But
quarterback?
he got knocked out in week 11. I'd say there's a different threshold for everybody.
But no, I think someone
He's
was claiming, like, do you count that? No,
No,
same thing.
God,
Carson Wentz does not. No, Nick Foles. That's Nick.
He won
Nick
all
Foles.
the playoff games.
Yeah.
That's Nick Foles' Super Bowl.
Just if Patrick Mahomes would have been out for the entire 3 playoff game run, and it was Gardner Minshew leading the Super Bowl, that one would not go to number 4 when we're comping him with Brady. No, it wouldn't.
I agree. It's so tough because they're the number 1 seed. You know that they're there because of Bo Nix, right? Like, or at least he's a portion of it. He's a huge portion of why you're able to be the number 1 seed hosting the AFC Championship game. Because to me, it's different if you're the 7 seed and you start to play the championship game in the Super Bowl. So, like, I'm close to almost saying I would give Bo Nix.
No, he's not a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He's not going to play in the final 2 games of the season to get there.
I know. I'd be close to giving it to him.
I hear you.
This is about anything before this, it's a no for me, right? Automatic no question.
Yeah.
This game and on, it's real close. Because if he got hurt in the second to last play of the AFC Championship game and then his backup on the Super Bowl, he's a Super Bowl winner in my opinion.
I still don't
That's
think
close enough for me.
I don't think
You won every game but one. You got your team the whole way. I'll give it to you.
How do you get credit for not playing in the most important game to call yourself a Super Bowl winning quarterback? I think
that's why I like this conversation.
It is interesting. What about
I can hear the nuance.
What about the Bears-Rams side of this weekend? Last night, another epic game.
An awesome throw, but it doesn't count now.
Yeah, Caleb Williams showed you plenty to feel good about if you're a Bears fan moving forward, but he did make the crucial mistake late, or not late. The late one was probably one of his wide receiver, but he made crucial mistakes in the game. And now Matthew Stafford is another win away from getting back to the Super Bowl. Now they're going to take on what appears to be a juggernaut right now in the Seattle Seahawks, who look amazing. Now the Niners' injuries finally caught up to them as well. But this was also a Seahawks team that beat them 13-3 the last time out. The Niners had no answer for the Seahawks defense. And that's the question. What does Sean McVay have up his sleeve against that Seattle defense? They were the only
team. They didn't move the ball great against Chicago.
When the playoffs started, we said, who can beat Seattle? And I said, there's only one team, and it's the Rams. And so we're going to find out if that's, in fact, going to actually be the case. And I think the Rams were the only team on the NFC side that could actually beat Seattle.
Well, right now that's true and will be objectively true by the time it's done. And I know you're not guaranteeing a win because it's a very even game. I would say it's just tough because this goes back to the same thing that we've talked about this playoffs a lot. Seahawks have the better roster. They got the better defense, and they're the only team in the NFL who has a wide receiver comparable to Puka right now, and that's JSN. So they got a weapon or weapons that comp close to that. But I mean, we know the better quarterback is. Let's not kid ourselves. But I also definitely know who the best defense is, and I don't have to kid myself about that either. I think that game will end up being very close. From the Chicago end, if I were a Bears fan, I would just say, okay, I feel way better about where we are now. Like, you can just you were a year too early. This happens in the NFL all the time. If I'm Chicago, I'm like, oh, we were a year too early. You're not supposed to just get there and win it all your first time getting it all together and figuring out. I know Drake May's in a position to do that, but historically, You got to take a year. You got to take your lump, right? And do that. And they lost to what is an awesome throw from Matt Stafford. And Caleb Williams made too many mistakes, although the final mistake I'd put more on DJ Moore. And they're going to have to learn from it. But Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams seems like a duo that can compete. You competed. You lost to a future Hall of Fame quarterback who made a couple of awesome throws late. You made a couple of mistakes late. You were in that game the entire time you were in that game. I would argue that you played better than them for a huge portion of that game because the Rams were a little off kilter for a bit, and then the Bears were off kilter for a bit. I think the Bears played better early. The Rams played better in the middle. And then at the end of the game, Caleb Williams, at the very least, and this is something I'd say, he can be a bit of a gamer. He makes some big-time throws and some big-time moments, Gold, and that will usually service you well come postseason.
And that's the part you feel great about. Caleb Williams showed you that you've got your guy. You've got your clear franchise quarterback. He's going to have an opportunity to also get better. Another year in the Ben Johnson offense. He got better as the season went on anyway. And so their challenge will be, like every team that gets to this, now the pressure and the new expectation is for you not just to win your division, it's to go to the Super Bowl. Your schedule will be tougher, all that kind of stuff. The job gets more difficult. But you should feel good about the future if you are the Bears. The challenge is I still think that division next year will be even better. Like my guess is the Lions will be just as competitive, if not better. Yeah. The question is about Minnesota and what do they do? Is J.J. McCarthy or they bring in a veteran quarterback and
to compete
and go for that?
Kirk Cousins back competing for the starting job with J.J. McCarthy. Does that seem impossible to anybody? That seems actually kind of like it.
With who? Sorry,
Kirk Cousins come back to Minnesota. I mean, J.J. McCarthy's no good. We all agree to that, don't we? Ugh. I don't know. It's tough for the Bears because it felt like a good opportunity, but I don't think the Bears had any chance against Seattle. So all I think they did is come up. I think they're a bad match for Seattle.
Okay.
So like in a lot of ways, I think we could get the better NFC game. And all the Bears did is lose a round earlier, and I think they were going to lose anyway and can build off of something. I don't feel as bad about their positioning as you would on the other side because of where they're at. The biggest surprise to me so far in this post, because Caleb Williams made mistakes, he's made mistakes all year. Okay, that's normal. Stafford has played mostly like his. Yeah. The biggest surprise to me in the playoffs so far has been, as much in the regular season as I have liked Drake May, he has been unimpressive in the postseason. I have not been blown away by his performance in any way.
Yeah, he can't hold the football.
I don't know he's in the AFC title game, but I mean, he's been very careless with the football. He has not made a lot of dynamic throws. It feels like they're winning in spite of him, not with him. And that's surprising to me from Drake May because of just how good he was in the regular season. But that part surprised me.
Yeah, I will say, though, as much as we talked about the schedule all year for the Patriots being very easy, and the quarterback, we usually compare like head-to-head quarterbacks, right? Oh, he only had to go through Stroud or only had to go through. Defensively, though, he actually has had a brutal road. And
yeah.
Like, he just got done playing Houston. He's going to now play the Broncos defense. If he wins that, he might play the Seahawks defense. Like, so, yes, quarterback-wise, it's not.
He's not playing as well, but his team is still winning.
That's all I'm saying. It's like the defenses he's facing are actually very impressive so far in his playoff run.
That could just as easily explain it. It feels like he's just been very lackluster. That's all. As far as the postseason, he's been probably the most surprising one to me as far as his play.
Random question.
Random question of the day brought to you by Kansas City Urology Care at KCUC. Remember, you see the best in KC. Visit kcurology.com today. For you, Gold, you Drew, text line 913-586-7965. As Gold mentioned earlier, because of the holiday, maybe you're at home. You could watch the show on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook. If you want to consume it in a slightly different way, maybe you're maybe you drive, maybe your desk job, maybe they don't let you watch video, and you're home today, listen to the show, you can watch us over on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, where we, put out some exclusive content over there as well. I told you today's random question was food related. I was watching a commercial yesterday, and it made me think of this question, and so I'm curious what it is. What is, and I'll tell you mine, and then you can think about it for a minute, but what is the food for you that you can't understand that people enjoy? The food for me is cottage cheese. Monstrous food. It's just like nasty, lumpy, curdled cottage cheese milk. And people put fruit in it and all kinds of nonsense. I don't get it. I'm not judging you I'm sure it's fine for whoever eats it or whatever. It is the food for me. I can't understand how people could enjoy it. This lumpy milk food that they just shove whatever other food they want in it. It disgusts me, honestly, to think about. I don't understand it as a food. I don't understand why people enjoy eating it. I understand it's high in protein, and that's probably why they do eat it. But I do not understand people's enjoyment of it or how they even get past the mental hurdle of eating it in general. It's one of those foods that I'm surprised was ever invented, and I don't know why people enjoy it. So I want to know what that food is for you.
Yeah, so cottage cheese, 100% with you. I think it's disgusting. Now, that won't surprise you. I'm a picky eater, so of course, if I would have told you I like cottage cheese, you would have been very confused. No, I think cottage cheese...
Stunned me.
I think cottage cheese is gross. I think Dusty eats it with like a tomato or whatever.
They'll just put anything in it. It's crazy.
I think he eats it with tomato. For me, this one will not be popular because I know some of you love this. And this is a me thing. Totally.
That's the point of this random question.
I don't get why people like sour cream. I think sour cream.
Oh, interesting.
I think sour cream's just.
Is it the flavor or the texture that gets you? Because there's a lot of things that have a texture.
No, the flavor. Because I would almost add mayo to this as well. But that I get
tons of got a different texture.
Tons of people love mayo, but sour cream, yeah. Like I love tacos, and I'll put pico and other stuff. Sour cream, stay away from my tacos or quesadillas or any of that.
Don't want
stuff.
it anywhere near there.
No.
I can sour cream as like an ingredient amongst other ingredients. I actually like as part of like a sauce. I'm okay with. Same as like mayo. I like as a sauce. I don't like them necessarily as standalone condiments, but I do like them as part of like a sauce. Over on Twitch. Someone also agreed in cottage cheese, kimchi, and Bloody Marys getting a mention over there. Bloody Marys is a weird one. I don't really want to drink tomato juice. I like tomato soup just fine.
Yeah.
I guess I just don't like it as a beverage. You know?
Yeah, I'm with you on the tomato. That's fair. I just think sour cream is just. I couldn't tell you the last time I ate sour cream either. Like it's not anything that I need anywhere near my food. What about you, Drew?
From the 913, get all the way out of here with pickles. People mentioning blue cheese because of it kind of smells
cheese
like
is
feet.
another good one. That's blue cheese, cottage cheese, sour cream. We're all
See, I like oysters, and I can enjoy blue cheese in certain settings. Also, boba tea getting a mention. I don't like tapioca balls in my drink. I don't like food in my drink. I guess is part of what maybe a stance I have.
Sour cream is a must on fajitas. Nah.
So you don't drink like lemon water or anything like that with like lemons in it?
Not like
lemon
that's
water.
a little. I guess that's a little bit different than like food I eat in my drink. Boba is like I eat the tapioca, right? Versus what you're describing is just a flavor in a water. That's a little different.
Right.
What's your food?
Ketchup and mustard. It's terrible.
Like together or just ketchup or mustard?
If I have fries with ketchup is not good.
Ketchup? Man, you went like standard condiment. I thought you were going to go way off.
Ketchup.
I can't ketchup. That's the one you want to eliminate? You don't understand why people like ketchup?
Nope.
What do you eat with your French fries? Mayo?
No, you got to make sure
eat them raw.
You got to make sure they're salted. But
This might stun you, but I agree with Drew. Like ketchup, I'll do with fries, but if the fry's good, I don't need
ketchup. If the fry's
seasoned,
it doesn't require
If the fry
ketchup.
is good, like McDonald's
But there's
fry.
lots of fries that require
McDonald's
ketchup.
fry. Have I ate those fries with ketchup? Sure. But if they're fresh as fast food can be, then yes, absolutely, I don't need any ketchup.
you can also like I don't want it on a burger, ketchup or mustard. I don't.
Do you eat any condiments?
So what is on your burger?
Do you eat mayo or
Yeah.
any kind of like? Do you eat any other condiment?
Mayo, like
This might be
mayo.
the first person on the planet to not eat
barbecue
ketchup and
sauce is
mustard, but
fine.
eat any other condiment.
Yeah.
It's an interesting combination. All these people, cottage cheese with mustard and Montreal steak seasoning, fire.
Cottage cheese
That
and spaghetti?
sounds awful.
I grew up eating cottage cheese.
You-
I
you
don't. I
just
don't
put
I don't
anything
think
in
it's-
cottage cheese.
I don't think it's great. But, so somebody said from the 573. This is when we'd eat cottage cheese. Is cottage cheese and spaghetti. We eat cottage cheese a lot, like as a side dish.
You should be arrested.
I'm not mixing it together, but you have it as a side.
Put this person in jail. Whoever is it that you said you put it in spaghetti?
You don't put it in it. You have it as a side.
Jail. Put in jail. Straight to jail for Drew. First time I've had to say this on the show. You should be arrested. Does anybody know somebody with the Kansas City Police Department? You are mixing cottage cheese and spaghetti?
I just told you, I'm not mixing it. I'm having it as a side. It's not together. It's separate.
I can't. Those can't be on the same plate.
I don't have it now.
Spaghetti doesn't need a side other than bread.
I grew up eating cottage cheese. I haven't had cottage cheese since I was probably 12.
Oh, no.
But yeah, that's how we grew up.
People call us children.
Cottage cheese.
I eat almost any food. And look, there are people that, like, someone on the text line said that their food is pancakes. They can't understand why someone likes pancakes. What? Or green beans or beets or chitterlings. There's all kinds of mentions. Oatmeal, right? We all have a food that we can understand. Ketchup seems crazy to me. But then also the things you guys, this is, I think, what grosses me out about cottage cheese is it seems like there is no limit to what someone is comfortable mixing with cottage cheese. Fruit, sure. Savory, fine. Like, it doesn't seem like there's any, those put it in anything. It's crazy to me. I don't get it. Someone says, my friend eats cottage cheese, cold shrimp, and peaches together. What? Kind of monstrous. behavior is this?
I mean, what if you were on a flight, Cody?
Oh my God!
And the person next to you had a cup of some Daisy not sour cream, just cottage cheese.
Unacceptable food on an airplane. Insane.
Someone says, Cody, do you realize some lasagna recipes call for cottage cheese?
Just use ricotta like a normal person.
Someone said it's a poor man's lasagna.
Is this like? And look, we ate a lot of poor people as we did not have money. We ate a lot of poor people meals. I got it. I ate Salisbury steak out of the frozen thing a lot in my life, and Pan Burger Partner, and a million others. Just eat spaghetti. You don't need to make poor man's lasagna. You have all the other stuff for regular spaghetti. Just eat spaghetti, no cottage cheese.
Someone says it's like yogurt. I like yogurt. I don't think cottage cheese tastes the same. I think it's
cottage cheese and spaghetti. That's too much for me, man. That's just too much for me. I can't. But it's also like partially because it's a food that I can't understand people enjoy.
A tub of cottage cheese a week from this texter. A
week?
large tub.
I don't know if it was a week, but growing up, it was probably about that, I bet.
Wow.
We grew up on cottage cheese.
Someone says good in smoothies. Look, if you can hide it in something, I'm sure whatever. I'd eat it. If you can just blend it up. It's the same reason people put spinach in smoothies. It doesn't taste like anything. You can just bury it hidden into, your fruit smoothie.
The text line's very split on this. A lot of people saying, no, there's nothing wrong with it, and there's a bunch that are
lots of
throwing
other foods.
up.
Like someone says, I hate tomato. It ruins everything. They don't understand people's enjoyment of it.
Yeah.
I like tomato.
Big fan.
Put it on lots of stuff. It's fine. But I don't want to put it in lumpy milk food like cottage cheese, man.
That is the random question of the day here on Cody and Gold.
Contentious over on the text line.
All right, up next, let's get into the controversy from the weekend, which is whether or not it was a catch or an interception, and then people are trying to use another play in another game to prove their point, which I think is incorrect. We'll try to figure it all out next.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Follow the station on Instagram for ticket giveaways and behind-the-scenes content from the show at The Fan 965.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are open now for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. Enter now at overheaddoorkc.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorkc.com.
FanDuel's giving all customers a profit boost for the college football championship tonight. It's your last boost of the college football season. Pick the side you believe in or build a parlay that fits the moment. Then apply your profit boost and go after a boosted payout with absolutely everything on the line. You guys know I'm rolling with the favorite. I like the Hoosiers minus 8.5 tonight. They have the best coach and the best quarterback. FanDuel is the best place to get into the championship action. And when you win, you'll get paid instantly. It's your last boost of the college football season. Pick the side you believe in or build a parlay that fits the moment. Then apply your profit boost and go after a boosted payout with absolutely everything on the line. So visit FanDuel.com/local to get your college football profit boosts today. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 in President, Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Kevin Harlan, and I'm here with Rob Seid of Rob Seid Ford. Fresh off a record-breaking year and a successful run at Ford's 2025 Top Volume Award. Rob, how did you do it?
Kevin, it's simple. We pulled out all the stops on price, on trade values, on inventory, and made sure our customers got an experience they couldn't find anywhere else.
Well, the race isn't over. 2026 is here, and you're back in the chase again.
That's right, and we're going even harder this year. More inventory, more aggressive trade-in values, and a buying experience other dealers just can't match.
Well, you're not just talking, you've got the receipts. Kansas City's only top-rated Ford dealer on Google, 4.8 stars with nearly 3,000 reviews. Voted best car dealership in Kansas City by KC Magazine.
The recognition matters, but what actually matters is how you feel when you call or visit Rob Seid Ford.
Inventory, value, transparency, and no pressure. That's why people keep coming back.
Come see us at 135th and State Line or visit us online at robsight.com.
Rob Seid Ford. Buy right. Drive happy.
What's up, guys? It's Drew. You know, confidence is key in all facets of life, and you should be confident where it counts because showing up matters during life's most exciting moments. I'm talking about Blue Chew. This is going to be your best year when it comes to sex because you're going to take the advice and try the chewable tablets from Blue Chew. It's a small chew for a big difference. You'll have flashbacks to your glory days, and date nights just got longer and better for everyone. It's not just about performance either, though. Give your partner something to brag to their friends about because nothing makes you more of a legend than a little Blue Chew. Discover your options at BlueChew.com and get your first month free when you use the promo code KFNZ at checkout. You just got to cover $5 for shipping. That's it. Go to BlueChew.com and get your first month free when you use the promo code KFNZ at checkout. Then you'll be ready to chew it and do it.
Hey, y'all. It's the Rocket Roger Clemens here. Spent a lot of time pitching heat. Years later, the pain in my joints remind me of those days, but I'm not looking to sit still, and I definitely am not interested in going under the knife. That's why I chose QC Kinetics.
Not just for elite retired athletes. QC Kinetics gives everyday folks joint pain relief using regenerative treatments that work with your body to help repair joint damage.
No surgery, no long recovery, whether it's your knees, hips, shoulders, or back. My friends at QC Kinetics will help you get moving again so you can get back to doing the things you love.
QC Kinetics medical professionals will look at your x-rays or MRI to determine if you're a good candidate.
I trusted QC Kinetics to help me feel like myself again, and I'm proud to recommend them to you.
Call QC Kinetics today and schedule your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
You can swirl it, you can sip it, but the best way is to share it. Hey y'all, I'm Deanna, a team member at my local Chick-fil-A. And a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich and new frosted sodas and floats is how well they go together. You get that bold flavor of the Coke mixed with the smooth deliciousness of the vanilla ice cream. You have a juicy filet and a smooth, creamy float. It's an awesome pairing.
Order a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich and a new frosted soda and float at your local Chick-fil-A restaurant. Real team member paid for their testimonial.
What if your instincts could pay off? With Robinhood Prediction Markets, you can put your sports IQ to work on the games you know best. It's not you against the house. It's you participating in a live market. Buy or sell your predictions all game long. Trade every play with Robinhood. Visit Robinhood.com/predict. That's Robinhood.com/predict. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey Royals fans, it's Vern. I'll be broadcasting live from Royals Rally on Saturday, January 31st, starting at 9 a.m. as I sit down with the biggest names in the organization before they head off to spring training. This is your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
96.5 The Fan. KFNC FM and AM. HD1 and HD2 Kansas City. An Odyssey Sports Station.
Don't forget, coming up on Tuesday, February 10th, the Chiefs off-season show. We'll have Bob and Dusty and CDOT all in studio with us from 9 a.m. to 11 on Tuesday, February 10th. So we'll be talking all things Chiefs with the full crew. As we said, it's been a while since we had everybody in studio. I honestly think the last time everybody was together on one show in studio was when we launched 96.5 The Fan. So this will be fun coming up on Tuesday, February 10th.
You think that was the last time?
When else? When else? Everybody. We've had Dusty randomly in, although it's been a while, or Carrington. I don't think we've had Bob in studio since then. So I don't think we've had everybody together.
We'll be infiltrating their show for the first hour.
Yeah.
And then the first hour of our show will go to that as well. And then we can talk things, like Eric Bieniemy getting an interview or having an interview requested. By then he'll probably be the Chiefs' new offensive coordinator. My whole thing is I would still love them to try to convince me that they actually are not doing this on paper and that they actually are considering another offensive coordinator. They could make me feel better simply, Gold, by admitting that they've actually spoken to other people and give me one name. Tell me one person. Don't just have these. There are a million NFL insiders who have a ton of different information, and not a single one of them will name another person they are interviewing for OC except Eric Bieniemy. The job's been open for a month. I mean, at this point, when was the Chiefs' last regular season game? I guess 2.5 weeks ago or whatever it was. I mean, job's been open for a while. I do think they were trying to save some face with Matt Nagy and
I really do
letting
think
him kind of like seem like he was going his own way, but still.
Yeah, I definitely think that's part of the PR spin here. Especially if he gets the head coaching gig, that they don't have to ever say they weren't bringing him back. No, he got a head coaching gig, or he got an OC gig where he's calling plays. We didn't move on from Matt Nagy. He left for a better opportunity. I do think they enjoy that aspect of it versus the reality that they were moving on and trying to find something different. I won't say new because it looks like they're going to bring back what they had. We'll get back into the Eric Bieniemy conversation a little bit later on in the show. We've been talking about it throughout the entire day, the news that they formally requested an interview. But the other big story out of the weekend that is controversial and I think is really interesting, although I'm already kind of sick of the conversation because, as you said, it's being used as an excuse more than anything, is, of course, in the Bills game and the Brandon Cooks catch/interception. We all know it was ruled an interception, a crucial moment in the game. And that play has been used in like the rest of the weekend on any play that was ruled a catch.
Because Davante Adams was also kind of close.
Now, I think they're two separate plays. I think Davante Adams, in his catch, he's standing up, grabs the football. To me, there's a second or two that goes by, knee hits the ground, defender swipes football out of his hands. Brandon Cooks goes up for the football, goes down simultaneously with the defender, and as soon as he hits the ground, the ball is out of into the other opponent's hand, in the opponent's hands. And if you're saying that's not what happened, if you had a way to take the defender out of it for a second. The reason why I know everybody thinks the Bills got screwed, I disagree. That play, if there's no defender around, if Brandon Cooks jumps up for a football, lands on his rear, and the ball pops out, you guys would say what? It's an incomplete pass.
Correct.
That's how you have to view that play because
he has not completed the catch.
He hits the ground, defender grabs the football at right before at the same time. And everybody, we're all guilty of this when we talk about our teams.
Yeah.
Screenshot culture is something I'm inventing right now, okay? Screenshot culture has got out of control. Everybody has a screenshot of Brandon Cooks on the ground acting as if, see, we do this. I can make any screenshot fit any narrative I want. I'm not even talking, this is not like AI. I'm saying people cannot just freeze frame Brandon Cooks the millisecond he's on the ground and ignore the
motion,
the half second that also occurred in the motion. You cannot screenshot that play. I actually think they got the call right in both circumstances.
I think it is a very admittedly tight call.
It is.
And had they called it a catch for Brandon Cooks, I do not think they should have overturned it. The same is because they called it an interception, I do not think they should overturn it for McMillan. And so that's the really tough part is I think it is more than fair to call that play either way. And I'm not here to some calls are up for debate. They are 50-50. And I'm with you, I think. If you just turned that on and you said, is that a completion for him or is that an interception? I would say interception for I think the biggest reason being what you said, which is let's say McMillan doesn't intercept it, but instead just punches the ball away, right? He just kicks it 10 yards down the field. It's not a catch.
It's incomplete.
So, there's a world in which it's just not a catch at all. And so, I think it's awfully generous of Bills fans to say that's a catch, no matter what, when there's a better than not chance because he had gotten the ball away, that it was never a catch to begin with. They're just putting him down on the 20. And so it's but if he just doesn't secure the ball and it goes away, it's not a catch anyway. You're going to just put yourself in the 20 because two guys are wrestling for the ball in a millisecond. Again, had it been called a catch, I would not have argued that they just left it a catch and it is what it is. I would have probably just been you know what? That's a tough one to overturn. And I don't want them overturning every call on a field. And I do think the Devontae Adams one is more obviously a catch than the other one. I think it's a true 50-50 thing. My thing goes back to the Bills who don't never want to take any accountability. It's, we didn't get to touch the ball in overtime. There was a pass interference call that was too mean, or like they were calling, like everything is always working against them somehow. And then they try to bring it back to the Chiefs, like you said, and Xavier Worthy. And I think it's just a 50-50 call that didn't go your way. They're trying to make it out to be like it's that Saints call from a couple of years ago in the divisional round when the guy got absolutely exploded on a play that is the most clear and obvious pass interference of all time, and they got screwed. I think you were the non-beneficiary of a 50-50 call. That's it.
Yeah, officiating is problematic. We've been saying it for years. In these big spots, it gets magnified. But I just think that catch, the way people have talked about it in national media is bizarre to me. You're right, it's close. But this idea that the NFL completely botched the Brandon Cooks play, I don't get. I actually, again, think they got it correct. I really do. Now, if you want to argue, should they have taken more time to review it? I think that point is also fascinating from Sean McDermott. He's like, well, they just made the decision too quick to make sure. But if they think they have the right call, then we wanted them to waste 5 minutes? So I disagree even on that point. Well, they made the decision so quick. If the rule is what the rule is and they can definitively in their mind see what happened, why am I wanting them to waste my time for another 3 minutes just to appease your feels, your vibes that they tried hard? I have no issue with how that played out. The whole survive the ground thing. Again, if you screenshot it, yeah, you can make it look like he survived the ground. But I think
was still in motion. He was physically rolling.
I truly think the simplest way to explain that play, if you're trying to convince somebody that it was the right call, is take the defender out of the play, and if someone goes up for a catch and they immediately hit the ground and the ball pops out, everybody would agree that it's incomplete. That's what happened, except the ball didn't hit the ground. The defender grabbed it. That's the simplest way I can explain that play.
Over on Twitch, Echo's saying the same thing what you're talking about. It's like the screenshot stuff is what happens on the holding calls. Like, I can show you an offensive line where it's like, hey, missed the hole. It's like, what was it there for, like a half a second? A millisecond? Still photos in a game of extreme speed does not do that. He was in full motion when that ball got ripped away. He was still actively rolling on the ground. He was in motion. Like, he wasn't still like I don't know how else to say
now,
it.
Admit,
so, like, again, I think it's a close call.
Yeah.
But when they called it that way in the field, I'm fine with it. I would, if given no things, I think I would call that an interception. But do I think it's close? Think you make an argument? Sure. How about the 5 turnovers? Maybe that was the reason why he lost the game, not that one catch.
I think what's odd for us watching the game, though, and again, I think it's the right call. Normally, for those that watch football every Sunday, if you see a play in which 2 players have their hands on the ball, which is what it appeared to look like, normally we all have gotten accustomed to, they just give it to the offense.
Tie goes to the runner.
But again, in this case, by the time Brandon Cook's ass hits the ground, McMillan already is pulling the ball away. But this wasn't, they both were on the ground together holding the ball and for 2 seconds or something, and then it's like, well, yeah, then it's a catch. This was Cooks, the ball is leaving his control into the defender, interception.
Before he's completed the catch to the ground. I think you agree too. I don't think it's crazy that somebody's trying to make an argument on the other side of it. I think it's more than fair. But to pretend like it's this massive injustice, like it's one of the most egregious non-calls or calls in the history of the sport, is just not accurate. It's the victim culture that exists in the Bills fandom that everybody's against them, and the whole league's cooked up conspiracy to stop the Buffalo Bills from winning a title. You're trying to tell me they don't want Josh Allen, one of the 3 best quarterbacks in the NFL, to win a Super Bowl? That's not who they want in the Super Bowl? They're all working against you. Refs make mistakes. And this goes back to the other part that we mentioned earlier in the show too, which is, for the first time, I felt like the divisional round reminded the rest of the NFL that they make calls like this all the time that have nothing to do with the Chiefs. Because that might have been the 10th most controversial call as far as like borderline in the weekend. They just started calling pass interference out of nowhere in that Bills-Broncos game. You should be talking more about that. They were letting everybody beat the hell out of each other. I think they could have called 4 or 5 different pass interference calls early in the game. And then we're like, you know what? Overtime, both teams, by the way, pass interference exists now. Holding exists now.
The only pass interference, I think the first DPI against Buffalo, where there was also roughing the passer, that DPI was a bad call, but there was roughing the passer anyway. And so that's a walk. Anyway. The last DPI that set up like the chip shot field goal, that was pass interference.
Clearly,
that was pass interference, and
but they were letting him get away with a lot.
I don't want to act. I also don't want to act like they'll build the. So, if you want to blame Sean McDermott for not taking accountability, fine. The fan base like complaining to me, that's fan bases. I mean, I think if the Chiefs had the same thing play out, there would be Chiefs fans texting in today saying they got screwed. I think that is just Chiefs. That is just fans being fans, but. The coach, in this case, now former coach, Sean McDermott, after every playoff loss, overtime rule change, refs play, that's the issue, I think, and maybe that's why ultimately Sean McDermott lost his job.
I take it on the entirety of Bills. I think Josh Allen has done a pretty good job taking accountability. He took accountability after this game, saying he was very obviously emotional and said, I cost my team this game. Mm-hmm. And so, I do get that part of it. But yeah, I think in the end, it was an interception. They made the correct call. I understand that it's narrow and probably borderline, but that's just how it is. Meanwhile, while I watched them go to Denver, go to New England, go to Chicago, and go to Seattle, man, home playoff teams felt like home playoff teams. I understand they didn't all win, but it felt like it mattered to go on the road, and that is not every stadium. That is not every team in the NFL, and the Chiefs have been part of what I think is a select group of maybe 10 teams in the NFL that have a real home field advantage still, especially when it comes to the playoffs. And I'll be honest, I felt myself feeling sad that I don't think it will be at the same level anymore once they build a dome. I know they haven't officially announced it's going to be a dome. It's going to be a dome. I'm like 95% sure based on anybody you speak to. Right. Because they want the ability to host Final Fours and all this other stuff. And over on Twitch earlier, somebody made a really good point, which is, if you are going to burden that area with the tax burden that it's getting ready to have to build the Chiefs' new stadium because of the deal the Chiefs got, well, then you better give them the opportunity to maximize the profits in that area, which comes via a dome. More events, more stuff. So, I
think we all get why the business side of it, they would go dome instead of open air. But from a fan perspective,
I'm going to spend the next 5 years appreciating the fact that they got a true home field advantage, different than almost any other team in the league. There may be 5 teams in the league who have the kind of home field advantage Chiefs have. And while their fans will still be there, and it will still be a home field advantage, and I fight against this it'll only be corporate people in suits enjoying the football game. I still think Chiefs fans will be loud. They can still create an environment. The elements, the cold part, the travel, the Arrowhead part will never quite be the same. And I think the divisional round made me think about that. Yeah, I don't appreciate that more.
I think that's fair. I don't want to get in a whole stadium debate again, but I think for sure that you will not be able to have the exact same playoff atmosphere with the elements and looking like a blizzard or windshield that's -5, all that stuff. Yeah, of course, that goes away. And, Chicago's going to get rid of it. The Bills are going to keep theirs. The Patriots will have theirs still. Seattle will still have theirs.
Denver will
Cleveland's
have theirs.
Going indoors.
Right? Or is Denver going indoor?
No,
they announced?
I don't know if they've...
They got a new stadium coming too, don't they?
Yeah, I thought theirs was going to be indoors. We can double check on theirs. I know the Tennessee Titans are going indoors with their stadium.
That was neutral anyway. We only think about that cold weather series, really, right? Because of the weather this weekend.
We know why from a business end they want to have it indoors. I think it goes without saying. But yeah, you lose the scenes that we got yesterday in Chicago and the scenes we've seen in Green Bay. Now, I think it also led to an 8-turnover game in New England. And look, there's some of you listening that like that. You like that it can cause chaos. I totally get it. I thought it was extremely sloppy and kind of trash football game between the Texans and Patriots. But also that is, I get it. That is the intrigue for some people. So I understand.
According to this, by the way, their proposed stadium would be a retractable roof. Same thing, though.
They're not going to have it open when it's cold.
Come playoff time, they ain't retracting it. That's just the reality of it. Same for the Chiefs build a retractable stadium. If it's January 8th and what we just saw, the weather was like the New England game, roof's closed.
Yeah.
We're not dealing with that.
This text this is funny again. Someone says, again, you guys are talking about the Chiefs dome. We get it. You want a dome. You're part of the reason this seed has been planted in ownership.
I already said I don't want a dome.
Again, one, not listening to the conversation. Two, I appreciate that you think we have that much pull that Clark Hunt listens to us on the stadium. But also, if he did, he would actually know that Cody and I have not been in favor of a dome stadium. We have both just said, if they build a new stadium, it's going to be a dome. So we can choose to not live in reality and lie to you, which is not what we're ever going to do on the show. So you choose. You want to hear what you want to hear, or do you want to hear what is happening with the Chiefs.
Because
I can lie to you and get your hopes up that they're building an open air stadium still. I can do that. I don't think anybody wants that though.
I guess here's just the reality of it. And this is why we're having the conversation. I have said before I don't want a dome because I think it ruins I think it's okay for sports to have elements, right? Like I think that is an acceptable thing about sports that I like. I like because this is the sports and football. It's the best reality TV we got, Gold.
Sure.
That Caleb Williams throw, I barely ever make a sound watching a sporting event anymore because we're in this industry and I've done it. I audible guffawed at that throw when he made it to Cole Kmet. Like, oh, what?
Like arms outstretched, 4th down and 4, 14 of the Rams. Shotgun snap, goes back 4-man rush. He's chased, he's flushed, he's all the way back to the 40. He's backpedaling and throws a pass into the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! Chicago has caught a touchdown pass.
Kevin Harlan, Westwood One Sports.
I like that, like, you can see their breath coming out of their helmet as they try to get their hands warm and the ball's slippery and they're trying to hold on. I like elements as it relates to sports. I think that's a part of live sports. I understand that the business has gotten so damn big now that I just know they're going to have this. And you and I have said this. I would vote for open air if you gave me any choice. I would vote for an open air stadium. And out there, but I also knew that was never going to happen. Right. So my secondary choice would have been retractable roof. Yeah. So at the very least, in September, it could still feel like I was outside. Probably not going to get that either. Probably going to get a dome. Yes, and I'm going to have to hope that they put a bunch of windows in that damn thing so at least some light shines through.
Yeah, which it will. But yeah, like I think the retractable roof thing is weird because on the surface it sounds perfect, best of both worlds. Retractable roof,
they just close
but it's actually a waste of money. I'm serious, a waste of money to retractable roof because these cities, if the high was 5 degrees for an AFC title game in Kansas City, they're not
perfect. Like no snow, they'd close.
They would keep the roof closed anyway. So what are you spending an extra $1.5 billion or $1 billion for a retractable roof for?
I use this as an example because it's probably a prudent one based on what I was saying. There was once a Houston Astros playoff game against the Royals, in which the high temperature in Houston, Drew, was 74 degrees, sunny, no wind. They closed the roof. They did not open it. It was 74 degrees. It's a baseball game. It's like, what? Like, they only open it for it is between 50 and 80 with no rain. So like in those dream scenarios, they'll crack open the roof for you. It's like probably, I don't know, like the sunroof for some people in their car. I open mine a lot. Most people don't. They have it. It's nice. Shine some light through your car. You don't feel like you're in a box, whatever.
I don't think the players are complaining, though, about a dome because...
it's also it's good for Patrick Mahomes' health. It's good for Patrick Mahomes' passing numbers. If you want more offense, domes have more offense. Less weather, less elements, easier to keep track of the field, all that stuff.
I think Reggie Wayne was the one that he's been vocal about this throughout his whole career. And I know that obviously he played in the RCA Dome, Lucas Oil, and all those other things. But
it's good for offense.
He was like... This is not football weather. Like what we watched this weekend was not football weather. He's like, this is not football weather. The players don't enjoy this. It's not fun.
I like
it might be
watching
fun for you when you're inside in your living room, but for us playing, it's not fun.
I don't even care. Here's the truth. I don't even care when it's like the million turnovers. You can be like, do you really want to see 8 turnovers in a game? Like, yeah, kind of. Because sports should have a live element to them, and the elements should exist. I understand. Like, I just don't want to play sports in a vacuum forever. Like, I like when golf is affected by the wind or baseball is affected by the wind. I like that elements can impact. Look, I get it that there's a limit, right? I don't want them playing in a blizzard or whatever. By the way, Patrick Mahomes, you want his dome stats? I know Jay Binkley was going to send him in. So do you want them?
I'm guessing they're good.
Not
guessing
retractable
they're pretty
roof.
good.
I'm giving you just straight dome. He has played 12 complete games in just a dome. He has 3,652 passing yards, 26 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
That's it, huh?
If you had retractable roof, it's also retractable roof / dome. He has played in 18 games. So look, perfect. Pretty much a full NFL schedule combined. He has 5,000 yards, 42 touchdowns, 6 picks. So from that perspective, I'm interested. Keeping Patrick Mahomes healthy. And now, of course, he's not going to see his team for 5 more years. It's not really building it for him. It's more building it for the next guy.
Yeah, no doubt. Hard to argue with that.
Somebody says, keeping the roofs closed, bring the noise in. Yeah, it might be loud. Chiefs fans are loud.
Oh, the noise will not be a problem.
They'll also design it around the noise like every other stadium does. They want the pumping in all fake like the Mercedes-Benz Dome. Was Was that the Falcons? Who was pumping in the fake noise? Anybody remember? Was that the Falcons?
I think it was Atlanta. I think they got fined and stuff, yeah.
I think it was Falcons. They had to pump in some extra jock jams, fake crowd noise, make it seem like it was actually loud.
Yeah, they lost their 2016 pick for pumping fake noise.
The first-round pick?
I want to say this is when Scott Pioli was down with that organization. Fine, $350,000, lost their fifth-round pick.
Fifth round. I was like, they could fifth round. I mean, still, pick's a pick.
Why did I think Pioli was like an assistant there or something, or a consultant when that was going on?
He's been around a few different.
The Browns were fined $250,000 at the same time for their general manager was violating the league's electronic device policy at the exact same time. I don't know.
Someone's saying not having real grass will be a bummer and could lead to more injuries. They're talking about wheeling it out. So they might still have real grass.
So
it might be more
RFP,
like the Arizona Cardinals way.
The RFP, request for proposal for the Chiefs, involved a retractable field.
Mm-hmm.
Not dome, retractable field.
I like to think it's like a giant crank and it's just like people wheel it out like this.
Well, like the Oompa Loompas, like the Oompa Loompas from Willy Wonka.
I just like to imagine that way in my
working
head.
on the field.
Makes it feel like more mechanical, like if a mouse is running a wheel in your brain, you know? I know it's not like that.
No, I
it's
hear
like
you.
to imagine it that way.
Up next, we'll get to what's trending. We'll talk more about Sean McDermott. And do we think a couple coaches are regretting making their decision already? We'll explain that next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
I wish I'd gotten treated for my erectile dysfunction sooner. Men, I hear this all the time from our patients. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if ED is a problem in your life, resolve to get it treated today and stop having it affect you and the one you love. ED is simply a medical condition, and it's fully treatable. And at Heartland Men's Health, we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. Which means if you're like most guys, your ED will be a thing of the past. In fact, you could be having great sex within a day or two of your first appointment, and you'll likely find you're performing like you haven't in a long time. It's the new year. Resolve to get your ED treated and change your life. Call us at Heartland Men's Health. Your initial visit is only $99. It includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
That's another amazing run by Team USA.
Mom, think I'll be on Team USA one day?
Well,
I'll take this one.
What? Are you speaking to us?
Yes, and to answer your question, anything's possible, especially with Xfinity.
So, I can be the best snowboarder ever?
Well, I can't guarantee that, but Xfinity can guarantee that your internet price won't change for 5 years.
Okay. What if I practice every day?
Then maybe you'll be snowboarding for Team USA at the next Olympic Winter Games. And Mom, you'll still be paying the same price for Wi-Fi.
Ooh, really stuck the landing there.
It's the Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get our best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed, just $50 a month. Plus, get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That's a $10.99 value per month. Xfinity. Imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Up to 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified vehicles in Kansas City, starting as low as 1.9% for 72 months.
0% event and a lifetime warranty. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Based on January 2025 through June 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
Escape to your new coastal seafood paradise. Introducing Aqua Pennies, where the freshest seafood, a full-service raw bar, prime steaks and chops, exquisite handcrafted cocktails, and a one-of-a-kind atmosphere come together in perfect harmony. Aqua Pennies is now open in Park Place, Leawood. Don't miss out. Experience something truly different. Tantalize your taste buds and elevate your evening out. To learn more, go to aquapennies.com.
Coast into Aqua Pennies, now open for lunch.
Hey, football fans, picture this. You bet on your favorite player to score the first touchdown in the game, but his teammate scores instead. If this happens, BetMGM wants to give you another chance at the end zone. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second instead. That's right. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. With BetMGM's second chance offer, you have a chance to keep the fun going after the first player crosses the goal line. Try a first TD score wager with confidence today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards paid back in unrestricted withdrawable funds. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel. Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
Spreadsheets, clunky software, 100 different logins just to run your business?
There's a better way. Odoo. One simple, connected platform that handles sales, inventory, accounting, and more, so you can focus on growing, not juggling. Make the switch today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. Visit AnthonyPHC.com today.
For 75 years, Kansas City families have trusted Anthony for comfort, safety, and dependable service. Thank you for trusting us with your house keys. Anthony, in your home for 75 years.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
What's trending?
Cheddar, mozzarella, Havarti. I'm giving you just straight don't.
Number one on What's Trending.
Did I say that?
Yes, you did. Yes.
In what context?
Well, you...
Talking about a dome stadium?
Yeah, yes, you did. Number one on What's Trending.
That's unfortunate.
Sean McDermott.
Are we allowed to play that?
You said it. Sean McDermott was fired today, if you haven't heard, by the Buffalo Bills. He will not be there for a 10th season. They did retain their general manager, Brandon Beane. In fact, he got a promotion. So they chose the GM over Sean McDermott. The Bills will have a brand new head coach. Fascinating to see how that plays out. We'll talk more about that in just a second. But Final Four NFL teams are, of course, set as well. Heading to championship weekend, it'll be the top-seeded Seahawks hosting the Rams, and it'll be the top-seeded Broncos, although without Bo Nix, hosting Drake May and the New England Patriots.
Next up on What's Trending, speaking of not having their full complement of weapons, Seahawks have lost running back Zach Charbonnet to the rest of the playoffs with a torn ACL, they're now reporting. So he'll be out for a good chunk next season as well. Could change. The running back market, as a reminder, Kenneth Walker is a pending free agent.
True.
And one of the possible targets for the Chiefs. But if they're going to have Charbonnet, they might be interested in bringing Kenneth Walker back as well, although it's a good running back free agent class across the board. Sucks to lose Charbonnet. At least Kenneth Walker is playing well for the Seahawks. But still, don't like losing one of your contributors this close to the NFC title game.
Local college basketball, KU dominated Baylor on Friday. They're at Colorado tomorrow for a rare 10 o'clock Central Time start out in Boulder. Makes no sense. K-State stays winless in the Big 12. A close one in Stillwater, not good enough. Missouri lost to LSU 78-70. They take on number 21 Georgia tomorrow.
What is Kansas up to? You said 19?
Yes.
19 now in the country?
Yeah.
They're back in the ranked world. They played well the last couple of games. their whole thing is I really want to see them string it together for a couple of weeks.
Win on the road.
I don't want to count the chickens before they hatch. Next up on What's Trending, national championship tonight, Indiana versus Miami. Indiana down to a 7.5-point favorite. There are some reports to say the Big Ten and SEC are still deadlocked on how to expand college football playoff, but still, gotta like that the college football playoff led us to one team who would have been in the national championship game, in fairness, but I don't think pre-NIL would have had a chance in doing it. And Miami, who was the 10 seed, wouldn't have been anywhere near the college football playoff before its expansion. It's nice to see a couple of teams who otherwise, in previous iterations of college football, would have had no chance go at it. You and I are just saying one thing. Can we please get a good game? I'm a little worried Indiana's going to whip them, and then we're not going to have much of a chance.
Hope not.
You know?
Hope not. I hope we get a good one tonight down in Miami. Lastly, Matt Nagy expected to have a second interview in Nashville with the Tennessee Titans this week. Again, his odds continue to be pretty good to get the head coaching gig, barring something surprising with Tennessee. We all know the connection there with Mike Borgonzi being the general manager. And it looks like Matt Nagy might get his second crack at a head coaching gig. That is what's trending here on Cody and Gold. And as I
the circle of trust from Campbell. Again, that's what we were most to change up some of the things they were doing offensively as well there in Detroit. And we'll see whether or not they have success doing it. Yeah, it is an interesting hire. But also, I can't remember who else I saw. I think I saw Tampa Bay's fired OC. Grizzard or whatever was being seriously considered maybe for that job. And then we saw one or two other guys potentially. Maybe they asked about Mike McDaniel or something outside of there. Mike McDaniel, he's going to get a head coaching job. He interviewed with the Raiders today. He had a second interview with the Raiders today, I think.
Be an interesting hire for them. Do you think, nobody can predict the future, but do you think Kevin Stefanski, who's going to be the head coach in Atlanta, it looks like, Harbaugh, of course, the head coach with the Giants now, John Harbaugh, do you think part of them is like, man, if I would have waited another 3 days, I could have taken the Bills job and had Josh Allen to work with?
Are you kidding?
I'm
just telling you right now, if I haven't technically signed the paper to become the Falcons head coach, like I was going to do it on Tuesday as part of a ceremonial thing, before I get on that plane, I am going to talk to Brandon Beane privately about whether or not he would hire me to be the next Buffalo Bills head coach. I wouldn't sign it still if it were on the table. I don't care.
You want them to pull
Bill
Josh
Belichick or Josh McDaniels. Yeah. Thing. Josh Allen? Gold, do you know how rarely a coaching opportunity comes up with a top 5 quarterback in the league? And there are 2 somehow open this year.
Baltimore's the same thing.
I know.
It's been open for a week.
But it's like, it happens so rarely. If I knew they would, I'd quit. I'd take whatever penalty I had to if I were Harbaugh. They'd hire me. Now, look, he's too deep. He probably signed the contract, whatever. Him too, Stefanski. But I think I'd have to go to bed having some regret. I think that's very common. I've had a job situation where I took a job and then another job became open. I was like, oh, damn it. That would have been a good chance. And look, it all worked out. I'm happy where I am. But to pretend like there's not instant regret of, oh, Josh Allen. Damn it. I think that'd be lying. Who do you think gets that job? I saw Mike McDaniel listed as the offshore odds favorite. Brian Dable right behind that, and a couple of other guys. But
that one's a wild one. I don't know what
that job. Boy, what a job!
I don't know what direction they want to head, offense or defense, and that changes a lot of that. You know, if they want to stay offense, then it's the same names. It's the Mike McDaniels,
Clint
it's
Kubiak.
the Mike McCarthy, it's the Clint Kubiaks of the world. If they go defense, then it opens it up to Brian Flores or Jesse Minter or Robert Saleh, or there's a bunch of names, or Chris Shula, the Rams defensive coordinator.
I don't know, man. I think if I were those guys, I would have some. I'd have some severe regret. And look, there's nothing wrong with Jackson Dart and Malik Neighbors and Cam Scatterbo.
Yeah, but it's not Josh Allen.
It's Josh Allen. It's Josh Allen. Matter of fact, if I'm in a job that I question my job security and I could get fired, I would try to get.
Now,
I would borderline George Steinbrenner, and I would get I would call the owner's wife a name. I'd get myself fired for that job. It's the second best job in the NFL other than Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, someone did tweet at me about that, and they said, no, they don't regretting it. That leash is too short in Buffalo. If anything, the Bills regret having to wait so long. It's the inverse. The Bills need a guy to get them over the hump.
The terms are for 9 years.
That's my thing. They did not have a short lease with Sean McDermott. Now, I do agree, whoever the new head coach is, the lease will be shorter. If you don't, in the first 3 years, if you don't, frankly, it is kind of crazy.
You don't win a Super Bowl?
You got to get to one.
Okay. I think 4, but yeah, same difference.
Again, this is where I think like earlier in when we were all going back and forth with Drew and we were all having the conversation about Andy Reid and like wasting time with the Mahomes or not wasting time. The difference is when you don't have one, the leash is just shorter. When you don't have a Super Bowl appearance, when you don't have rings in your back pocket, you don't have as much time on your hand. And there is the ability to worry about wasting something versus actually winning with said quarterback, which you've already done in some cases.
Admitted, a little bummed as a Chiefs fan because I think Sean McDermott held them back in like just enough way that I didn't think they were necessarily going to get over the Chiefs hump. So they definitely can have a coach worse than McDermott, but they can also find a coach worse than McDermott. And so I didn't want to take that risk. I would have been fine with the level of coach they were getting in Sean McDermott, I guess is the case. So like that part is still prevalent there as it sits. But yeah, I mean, the wasted years and all this other stuff. The other part about this with Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen's jobs now available, right? The head coaching jobs available. Can we admit that this is partially Patrick Mahomes' fault? The reason Sean McDermott got fired is because he didn't have the I keep losing to Patrick Mahomes excuse anymore. I borderline think if he had lost to Mahomes again, maybe it'd have been the straw too. That might have still kept him his job. He kept leaning on that for years. Oh, it's just Mahomes who stands in my way and not that anymore. Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen not having a Super Bowl, which is primarily because Patrick Mahomes kept stealing them all. He kept being the person who went to all of them. So no other quarterback in the AFC had any chance to eat. He kept stealing their dinner. I do think the fact that he wasn't in it and they still couldn't make those things happen got him fired. I think that was just be like, okay, it's not even the Mahomes excuse anymore. We'll see y'all later.
Definitely could have been. I also just think it's the culmination of all these years of missing your opportunity in the postseason. You might be right that it's like, hey, you couldn't even do it this year. But as I said, I think it's a culmination because this playoff loss is less on Sean McDermott than any of the recent ones, with Josh Allen having the turnover-prone day that he had. I think it's more, it's weird, on Josh Allen and Brandon Beane. Brandon Beane, this roster is not good in Buffalo. Josh Allen, of course, had his worst playoff game. Now, they don't get to the playoffs without Josh Allen, so we can play that whole game. But I actually thought Sean McDermott this year was one of his better coaching jobs, if you believe it or not, with the roster. But it's not just about 2025. This goes back to issues and mistakes he's made in the 13-second game. That wasn't, as much as that was Patrick Mahomes, yes, it was also, what the hell were you doing on the kickoff? What kind of defense were you playing if you're Sean McDermott? So it's a culmination of everything. I'll be interested to see if he actually gets a head coaching gig right away.
I think we already know the answer for why somebody, because you're like, Mike McDaniel, he just got fired from Miami. That feels like a big job for Mike McDaniel to get. I still think there will always be teams who will look at the 2-year run when he had Tua completing 70% of his passes, and Tua once finished the season with 4,624 passing yards and 29 touchdowns. And they'll say, he did that with Tua? Because nobody thinks he's any good. He did that with Tua? Well, he can certainly do that with Josh Allen, James Cook. What's this team good at? Getting A-Chan out there in space? There are some parts of their offense. I actually think parts of their offense that work incredibly well with his offensive scheme. I just feel like that's almost too big of a jump. And but McDaniel fits what? And maybe tell me if you guys think I'm wrong. McDaniel does fit one thing in a small way, even though he's not. I think they need an up and ready coach. I don't think with Josh Allen you can take the Sean McVay risk. I don't think you can just go out there and take Shieldhouse or Davis Webb, who's 30 and got a head coaching interview, and just put him in there with Josh Allen and say, go win. I think you need an established head coach.
Is the pushback up? So play devil's advocate a little bit, and even this goes against what we were just saying with Harbaugh. Let's say Harbaugh was still out there. Wouldn't you also be feeling like if you were the Ravens or the Bills that you'd be hiring Sean McDermott all over again if you hired John Harbaugh? I think Harbaugh's a better coach, but meaning he couldn't get over the hump past Kansas City either. Why would we bring him in?
Jackson.
So the established coach thing, I'm with you, but that established coach, is that somebody that, like Mike McCarthy, who I still actually think should get a job. I don't know if he will. The only problem with bringing in Mike McCarthy is, he'll win playoff games for you. That hasn't been your problem.
He won 12 straight games.
That hasn't been a problem. Yeah, like that's not a problem for you. Is he a coach that can get you a Super Bowl? Now, Mike McCarthy at least has won a Super Bowl. That's the difference in this whole scenario.
In that case, but
exactly. It's just like,
been a long time for both of them, though.
Exactly.
And so, but that's where Mike McDaniel's kind of like the best of both worlds.
Mike McCarthy in Pittsburgh makes way more sense.
In the sense that you're like, well, Mike McDaniel's never won a Super Bowl. Yeah, he was never meant to. He's been starting Tua this whole time. He wasn't winning a Super Bowl with that. Like, that's the Harbaugh anti-McDermott argument is he's doing more with less, and he's an established head coach, and his offensive scheme fits our offensive weapons, right? It's that part. I still can't believe they didn't fire Brandon Beane. What the hell do I know?
If you're Buffalo, you at least call the agent of Mike Tomlin to check in, right? You have to at least check in.
And,
hey, does he really want to step away for a year?
And Marcus Freeman. You know how many times Marcus Freeman's been trying to tell people he's going back to college? I'll just tell you right now, Marcus Freeman, I would call him an idiot if they called him and said, we will give you the Bills job, and he didn't take it. It's Josh Allen. You will never get a better opportunity, most likely, to take over a head coaching opportunity than this one.
Depends on
if
his priorities.
If they offered him the job.
I think. Because Kurt Cignetti was asked the same thing if he would go to the NFL. He goes, I'm not an NFL guy.
Quite a bit different in age, and that's fair.
Does Marcus Freeman want to go to the NFL? Does he aspire to that? Because if so,
he's never said he doesn't want to go to the NFL. He just says he wasn't taking a job. You know,
if he wants to, this is his best shot. Probably. I mean, I don't know if you could.
I just don't know what the Bills
prop up
want.
A better opportunity.
I just don't know if the Bills want an offensive-minded guy or a defensive-minded guy, or they don't care. That's what we don't have any information on that yet. Because the Mike Tomlin thing is tricky because he went through the whole thing, and the reports were that it's all about stepping away and wanting to be with family, and then. People have the right to change their opinion on something, but all of a sudden to then turn around and say, actually, you know what? I do want to coach. Then it's like, I'll be, the reaction in Pittsburgh would be,
yeah.
Oh, wait, you really just didn't want to coach us anymore, which is ultimately, if he coaches again, the same thing. It's just so quickly happening would be pretty wild to suggest. And yes, text line, Mike McCarthy. Yeah, he's Mr. Pittsburgh. Yeah, Mike McCarthy and the
Steelers.
He's a
yinzer.
Make a ton of sense.
Did you see that horrid AI picture somebody put up with him? That
in
they
a bar,
didn't
like
edit.
in a Pittsburgh
yeah, he's got
bar.
like a cigarette butt up against his temple. Somebody did not fact check any part of that. Just absolutely wretched version of an AI McCarthy. But yeah, I don't even know what yinzer means. I just know that that's what they call each other
Pittsburgh
for.
thing. I don't know. I think
that's like the
here's what we'll do.
Us.
We will research. We are going to be in Pittsburgh. We think for the draft, so we'll get to the bottom of it.
We'll research yinzer.
We'll get to the bottom of it there. Yeah.
I don't know why they call themselves that. I guess
we'll get to
but he's a true yinzer.
Okay.
Or whatever
Okay.
meaning that is. I don't know, man. That feels like a non-Steelers hire. They always hire some like young dudes you've never heard of or barely heard of.
What do you think of Stefanski in Atlanta? We haven't really talked about him.
Good fit. Lot of weapons. Same problem. Quarterback. They had some they've never had this many offensive weapons in Cleveland. But their problem is I've never seen Stefanski coach up a quarterback. I've seen him make do with bad quarterbacks. I've seen him do some offensive things that are fun, but it's always in spite of the quarterback. So I guess for him, does he like Michael Penix Jr.? Are they going to let him go get a vet? Because the weapons, undeniably, are awesome there. They got a mediocre offensive line, but they got guys to throw to and run with. So, I think it's a pretty good fit. If I'm the Falcons, I'm happy that's the hire I made. I got no problem with it from a Falcons end. If I'm Stefanski, I got a little bit of quarterback questions, but other than that, I'm okay. Ownership is usually out of the way there. They're 50-50. They're not the worst ownership.
We just don't know. Is Matt Ryan going to be a good executive? That'll also dictate how much success Stefanski has. Like, he might have some say in the GM. Remember, Matt Ryan's not the GM. It's a new. This is why you always wonder, how does this stuff work? The power struggle and that stuff. You created a new role for Matt Ryan, but you're still going to have a GM.
So what does he do?
And so who's actually having control on the roster?
I feel like that's the same thing all these other teams are doing. They brought him in to determine what they should do at quarterback. And between Stefanski and Ryan and the new general manager, they're thinking those three heads put together certainly can't screw up quarterback the fifth straight time or whatever. And in fairness, they got plenty of good years out of Matt Ryan. They didn't screw that up. Did he win an MVP one year, Matt Ryan?
I think so, yeah.
Like, he had a nice NFL career, got to a Super Bowl, came up short, like a lot of quarterbacks. But he had a nice career.
2016.
They weren't destitute at quarterback for years.
That was the Super Bowl year.
Yeah. They just haven't found the guy since then, I think, in what I would say. And so that part of it is still kind of a conundrum. A lot of openings left. Tons of openings left. You got any feel for who's going to go where yet?
I mean, this is obvious. I would be almost shocked if Matt Nagy doesn't get the Titans gig now, based on all the reporting that's out there. Like, I think
the fact that they said the only thing you could throw a wrench in is if they want McDermott instead. But
Fair.
they're so far in the coaching cycle search now.
So
you're just going to change everything you were going to do?
I also think I got a suspicion that Baltimore is waiting on either Chris Shula or Clint Kubiak.
Yeah, because I haven't heard crickets on their end.
Ravens have interviewed Nagy. They've interviewed Robert Saleh. They've done interviews.
Those feel like interviews of people we don't really want the job, though, you know?
Yeah.
You think Brian Flores can get a job? He's interviewed a bunch of places too.
I just don't know how that plays out with the owners, with the whole thing, the part he's suing the NFL.
Is he actively still in that lawsuit against
still
the
going
NFL?
on. That thing's still going on. Yeah. Now, he's been employed. He's been a defensive coordinator during all this, so I guess you could say, well, then why can't they hire him as a head coach?
I just don't know why an owner would hire a guy who's actively suing them.
It's a weird
He's
spot.
not suing the owners. He's suing the NFL, but by proxy, that's the owners. I still wonder, of the head coaching vacancies, the Bills is now number one.
Sure.
With a bullet. It's the most attractive.
Then
job.
Baltimore.
Baltimore's still number 2. Of the remaining jobs, I think it might be the Raiders. The only argument for the Steelers is ownership.
Well, Arizona.
Every other part. Arizona's dead last.
That Arizona quarterback situation's a mess, and you don't have,
No, I think the Raiders might be third. Arizona's dead last, I think. Browns
I'm
is second.
I'm saying Arizona, the quarterback situation is a mess.
Yeah. So I think 6 and 7 there. So the real question is, would you rather have, if you were a head coach, the Titans, the Raiders, or the Steelers job? And I think I'd rather have, believe it or not, I think I'd rather have the Raiders or the Titans job. Steelers ownership, cool. That's great. They give me some job security. What the hell's my roster there?
I'm going to have a middle-of-the-road quarterback for a while, at best. Yeah, the Titans say it depends on how much you believe in Cam Ward. Personally,
and how much you believe in Fernando Mendoza for the Raiders.
Yeah, who do you think is the better quarterback moving forward? And the Titans have a history of changing GMs and coaches every 2 years. And the Raiders also have the same. So they're not great franchises. The Raiders, have a brand new stadium. The Titans are about to get a brand new stadium.
They've got their own Matt Ryan and Tom Brady getting in the way.
The AFC South versus the AFC West, where you have Mahomes and Herbert and Bo Nix in the Sean Payton era. Like, the Raiders is a tougher job. It just is, I think. I know you get the top pick, and if Mendoza's a stud, then you think it solves everything. But, the Raiders' job is much tougher.
I just think I could look at that roster and I could say, all right, you got me Genty and Bowers. I just draft a wide receiver and I got weapons, right? I'm taking Mendoza. I go give a free agent wide receiver whatever money they want, and I got an offense. Their offensive line's kind of weak, but I can envision an offense immediately. If I'm an offensive-minded guy going to the Raiders, I can just say Mendoza, Genty, and Bowers, I'll make that work. If I can't make that work, and I'll pray that Max Crosby likes me and he wants to stick around one more year. So I still got one good defensive player.
If I'm the Raiders, I'd take one of those IU wide receivers too in the third round. Give me Elijah Surratt or Omar Cooper. Let him.
We've seen that a couple times
with
in
some
league.
chemistry.
Do you like that? We've seen that a couple times in the league. Joe Burrow got Jamar Chase back. Took an extra year.
Oh, well, Jamar Chase is a top receiver. I mean, that's a little more obvious.
When your chemistry is that good, like even Troy Franklin in Denver to some extent, he hasn't quite panned out to be the type of player maybe they thought they would have, but Bo Nix trusts him. And obviously, Troy Franklin hasn't been healthy, but
that example works.
I think that's something that you consider if you're the Raiders.
Yeah, that example.
I gave you the most extreme example.
Jamar Chase, it doesn't matter. I mean, everybody would have drafted him.
But Tua and Jalen Waddle worked at least for a while, right?
Yep, same sort of thing.
Jalen Hurts and Devonta Smith, I would argue, has at least worked for a little bit. Lawrence and Etienne played. I'm looking at the list now. Lawrence and Etienne played together. Derek Carr and Devontae Adams played together in college. I think Devontae Adams would have worked anywhere.
I'm with. I agree with your guys' point about the chemistry. I'm just saying, once again, Jalen Waddle was a top 7 pick in the draft. There is no. Oh, they only drafted him because of Tua. No, he's a top. He's a Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle. These are top guys. The Troy Franklin example works. He's a 3rd round guy. The Becker or one of these other receivers or whatever for Indiana in the 3rd round or 4th round makes sense. But if a guy like Carnell Tate, if there was some scenario where Carnell Tate, let's pair him up with C.J. Stroud. No, he's Carnell Tate. He's going to be a top 10 pick. It doesn't matter who my quarterback is. I would want Carnell Tate if I'm looking for a wide receiver.
They might not have played together anyway.
I know. I'm just throwing out
same
random,
school necessarily.
Yeah. I don't think they did.
Can anybody? I remember the name because it got brought up a lot of times in Kansas City Gold. I want to see if you remember. There was a former Texas Tech